We kick things off with some context to help us understand this new world of Avalheim. Our hero, Amakousa Rekudo, has been summoned into this fantasy land by a magical alchemist who goes by the name of Gilstra Jin. He had agreed to become this man's pupil for around half a year, but our hero was left alone within only a few days. Rekudo decides to head out into the forest, but comes across some thieves. For added context, in this world, thieves are as good as monsters, so people are free to take their lives if they want to. Rekudo catches the thieves attacking him, and it looks like he's about to get nasty. However, as the cute girl looks on hopelessly, she is spared by our hero, much to her surprise. The girl tries to justify her methods, but Rekudo doesn't care because she and her group rob innocent people. She has no answer to his statements, so she just looks on as our hero tells her that what she's doing is wrong. The cute girl knows the risks that come with what she's doing, and is even ready to lose her life if she comes across a monster who bests her. She and her group bow down to Rekudo, as if he is their new master because they don't know what to do if they are forgiven for their sins. Our hero doesn't think much of it and hands over a bag of gold and silver to the girls. They are shocked by this gesture, as Rekudo tells them that they can use this money to start a new life and do the right thing. This is still an unusual turn of events, so Rekudo tells the girls that they should live with honor if not anything else. The leader of the girl gang still has no idea why our hero would just donate so much money. That too to the girls who tried to rob him. However, he just says that it was because of his mood, and it surprises her even further. She says her name is Shararu Natsumi and asks for Rekudo's name, but he avoids the question and walks away. Natsumi urges him to reveal his name, so Rekudo finally gives it to her and says it's not a big deal as he rubs her head as well. Natsumi gets really excited upon hearing such kind words, but Rekudo mistakes this to be awkwardness. He feels odd and says sorry for touching her head, but Natsumi says that she owes her life to him. As a matter of fact, she says that she is now Rekudo's slave and he can do whatever he wants to her from head to toe. As expected, this makes our boy nervous because Natsumi is a very cute girl. He tries to brush it off and says that the girls should just try to live an honest life from now on. However, before he can bid the girls farewell, he gets attacked by a swarm of guardian ants. We learn that these monsters are usually at rank D, but when they attack in a swarm, they can go as high as rank C, which is tough for the adventurers of this world. Rekudo gets ready for battle and reassures Natsumi that he is fine. However, she does not want her savior to get ambushed, so she offers to clear a path for him, even though Rekudo doesn't really need her help. Our hero tries to convince Natsumi to worry about her own safety, but she attacks the ant monsters with all her might. Their movements are such that they overpower Natsumi with ease, and they are about to feast on her as she lies helpless on the ground. Luckily, Rekudo comes to the rescue and uses his punches and kicks to defeat the ants with ease. Despite this, he wonders why guardian ants are showing up in a rank E forest. Anyway, he rushes to Natsumi and offers his hand, but has to deal with an awkward situation. After they get over it, Natsumi apologizes for not being able to help her new master. Rekudo only wants to know why she was still following him after their little talk, so Natsumi acts cute and says that she can't just leave her new master alone, or even let him walk into the danger zone by himself. She then says that she will escort him to town, as the other girls are not as strong as she is. Rekudo agrees to this, and is happy to have company, but doesn't know if Natsumi can keep up with him. He decides to check her foot because she had fallen down, but it leads to a comedy of errors as she feels very shy to be examined in this way. Anyway, Rekudo asks her if it hurts when he squeezes her feet, but she still acts coy because she doesn't want to offend him. Rekudo eventually fixes her injuries, and then Natsumi reveals that she's only been touched on her bare skin once before this. Our hero gets interested when she says this, but it turns out that the first time someone touched Natsumi was when Rekudo rubbed her head. It creates an awkward scene once again, so our hero decides to focus on reaching the nearest town first. He asks Natsumi if she can stand, and she tries, but she is still not fully healed. Rekudo gets an idea and gives her the bag of gold and silver. He then asks her to get on his back for a piggyback ride. This will help her heal faster, but at the same time, she feels shy because she's going to be sticking to her new master. As expected, Rekudo can feel all kinds of things while carrying his new slave girl, so he figures he should calm down for now to put his heart at ease before it explodes. Now, it's time to make some ointment, so our hero gets to work with some herbs, berries, and leaves. He is quite skilled at making the healing paste, and reveals that he had learned this from his master. Natsumi gets excited upon hearing this, because she imagines becoming Rekudo's disciple and spreading his messages even after he has passed. Our hero finds all of this a bit too extra, so he asks Natsumi for her foot. She presents it but in shady fashion, so Rekudo confirms that it is only to apply the healing paste. Natsumi does as she's told, and is treated with the paste. But what follows is a sequence of events that cannot be described in words. Natsumi lets her wild side loose, and Rekudo does the best he can to maintain a poker face. He gets done with his job, and then he ties up the wound to help Natsumi recover faster. Now that all the touching is over, our hero asks Natsumi what led her to become a thief. She says that in her village, there was an awful custom where girls would be forced to accept marriages even if they have rejected them. Rakuto believes this is wrong, but then Natsumi explains that the girl still has to say yes, and she only has to accept the men whom she liked but couldn't commit to. It's mainly for the parents, because they get a nice gift in return for their daughters. Our hero thinks that Natsumi is defending the custom, but then she says that her case was a lot worse. Basically, she had received a proposal when she was only 10 years old, and the man who liked her was a big creep. She had openly said no to him, but he came with a lot of gold coins, and that made her parents think twice about it. It led to them forcing Natsumi to say yes to the giant creep because he left the gold coins with them despite getting rejected. Hearing such an awful story makes Rakuto feel bad, because it brings back some memories of his own. He lets out a loud shriek and it worries Natsumi, but he assures her that all is well. He then proceeds to rub her head again and tells her that she is a good person. Natsumi explains that she had decided to use her fighting skills to do adventures with her friends, but only low-rank requests. Once the monsters got stronger in the area, she would not get as many requests as before. This was why she turned into a thief, so that she and her friends could survive. Rakuto gets the picture now, and asks if doing regular work is hard. Natsumi says that it's tough to do it on a daily basis, so our hero tells her that he's going to a town named Kamso. Here, everyone is an adventurer, so there are a lot of missions over there to accept. He asks her if she can get up now, and after a brief period of pain, Natsumi is finally able to walk. Rakuto is pleased to see this, and then he asks Natsumi her age to see if there's something special going on here. However, he gets the shock of his life when she says she's only 12 years old. Our hero cannot believe that a girl so young has a body so developed, but this makes Natsumi ask him if he likes curvy figures. This prompts Rakuto to give her a quick lesson on men and the things they liked. His words are true, but at the same time, mature. This makes Natsumi nervous because she does not know how to react to such statements. Our hero realizes that he has quite the task ahead of him because Natsumi is a very shy girl due to her age. The new duo makes their way to the town, but Rakuto makes sure not to look at Natsumi's body. Otherwise his intrusive thoughts might take over. He asks her what she will do upon reaching the town, and she says that she will pay for her sins. In order to do this, she will make herself a slave girl and do all kinds of missions to make up for her past crimes. This includes deadly missions that might turn out to be lethal. One such mission was taking on an army of wyverns that were just as strong as dragons. Out of the 8 people that fought against them, only 1 came out alive. This story makes Rakuto anxious, but Natsumi tells him that such missions are rare. Also, there is a huge reward for surviving them, and all her sins can be forgiven if she even completes one of them. However, our hero feels it's too risky for her to get involved and expresses his concern. Natsumi still wants to pay for her sins, and she says she wants to be Rakuto's assistant once she is done covering her debt. He thinks about it for a bit, and eventually agrees to her suggestion. This makes Natsumi very happy, so the duo reaches the town, and then Rakuto goes to the Adventurers Guild while Natsumi begins her atonement. Here, he meets the reception lady named Lumi and asks her to call the guild master. She wants to know what the issue is, so Rakuto shows her the antennae of one of the guardian ants he took down in the forest. After he explains the scene to Lumi, she gets worried because such monsters are not supposed to be found inside E-rank forest. Now that she has the proof, Lumi decides to call the guild master of this town, and it turns out to be a cute kitty girl named Reina Murin. Lumi tells her what Rakuto had said, so Reina allows him to come see her. However, Lumi warns our hero not to make Reina angry because she might just end his life if her mood is like that. Despite his nervous posture, it turns out that Reina is a decent young girl, as she offers him a drink and makes some small talk. It's time to get down to business, so our hero tells her exactly what he saw at the forest. Reina takes this matter seriously and decides to open an investigation into it. She also decides to send out an alert to notify everyone about the new monsters in the forest. Rakuto is fine with this, but he asks her if an adventurer can start out as an F rank. She replies by saying people have also been known to start as D rank or even C rank at times. It's at this moment when Reina's guard Lilith starts talking and belittles Rakuto for having high ambitions. She is a Zwerg Holy Knight, which means that she has a very high rank despite being a woman. Our hero doesn't care about that anyway, because what matters is the amount of mana in the body. Even Reina doubts Rakuto and places a lot of faith in Lilith to be able to humble him for his ambition. With that, Lilith summons the power of God to bless her with the Tempest Dreiger, which is like a flame sword. This sword can cut through a person, but will not take their life, so Lilith can go all out against Rakuto. She charges at our hero with full strength, hoping to defeat him with ease, but that doesn't happen at all. As a matter of fact, she is beaten before she can even figure it out. and is left humiliated within seconds. Reina is very impressed by Rekudo and his skills, so she decides to try him out for herself. Lilith, on the other hand, is out of words because she has never tasted defeat like this. She is worried that Reina will let her go, but the guild leader says that this is just a lesson for her to grow even stronger. With that out of the way, it's time for both Reina and Rekudo to test out their powers against each other. Reina explains the rules and says that our hero will simply have to avoid her attacks and stay standing after 5 minutes. She will consider him strong if he manages to do this, but he asks why he can't attack her. Reina laughs and says he can do so if he has a death wish, and then she summons the forces of her powers. Soon enough, a dark portal opens up and we see some dragons diving out of them. This is Reina's main move, and she says that her dragons can pop up from anywhere. That's exactly what happens with Rekudo as he senses a dragon grabbing his leg from behind. Basically, these dragons can take away your senses simply by touching you, and that's exactly what's happening with Rekudo right now. Reina is very proud at this moment, and she tries to act cool in front of Rekudo, but he doesn't care about any of this and frees himself from the Dragon Legion. She clearly doesn't like this attitude, so she tells her Fang Dragon to attack her opponent with full force. The beast approaches Rekudo with all its might, and things start to look bad for our hero. However, he turns the tables by telling Reina that she does not know how to manage her powers despite having so many of them. He then proceeds to defeat the dragon with ease and makes it vanish from his sight. Reina cannot believe what she is seeing, and then Rekudo snaps out of the trance he was being held under. He quickly pounces on top of Reina and pins her down with ease to claim his victory. However, he seems to have dominated the guild leader by a lot, so he seems imposing upon her. He asks her if he has won the battle, and she agrees to it, although she looks very shy after being humbled. Rekudo helps her up and asks if she's alright, but goes on to experience something that's all too familiar. Reina hugs her opponent with care and says that she's feeling good now. She even confesses that she has fallen in love with him, which confuses Rekudo, even though he finds her cute. Reina says that she fell in love the moment he pinned her to the ground, but that really isn't a good reason for romantic feelings. The reason for this is that Reina has a lot of black mana, which makes men fear her. She has never been approached due to this, so when Rekudo came charging at her with all his passion, she immediately fell for him, because after all, she too is a woman. Our hero is clueless just as he was with Natsumi, but then Reina asks him to rub her head, hug her body, and pin her down once again. She takes things a step further by kissing her new lover boy as well. Rekudo is made to blush by this, but Reina promises to do whatever he asks of her and wants to become his new slave girl. Rekudo doesn't really want to get into this, so he brings up the guild rank topic, which makes her angry. Reina loses her cool and starts shouting at her lover boy for ignoring all her efforts. However, he reminds her that the reason for this battle was to give him a B rank in the first place. She then goes on to explain that the weak will never achieve a B or a rank because they do not have the hunger to do so. In the case of Rekudo, not only did he display that hunger, but was also able to defeat her, which is something that has never happened before. Our hero is confused by this and asks if that means he can't be given the B rank. However, Reina cutely says that she will keep her promise and give him the rank he desires. The only problem is that it will take time for her to do this, so Rekudo has to be happy with an F rank as of now. However, he asks her to remember one thing very carefully, which is that a human was able to defeat the guild master of this town with ease. He also tells her to wait for a response to her love confession. It makes Reina upset because she thinks that Rekudo doesn't like cute girls like her. However, he says that he finds her adorable and definitely likes her. It makes Reina blush, and she is delighted to hear this news. Our hero explains that he has already made a promise to Natsumi because she did not have freedom before and wants it now. However, this is not a romantic promise, as the deal was only for her to become his assistant. Reina accepts what Rekudo is saying, but she tells him that he must take her after his deal with Natsumi is done. After all, it's not fair for her to win just because she met Rekudo before Reina. With that, the guild master holds hands with Rekudo and promises to do her best to raise his rank. They separate for now, and weeks pass by, but Reina can't control herself anymore, so she goes to see Rekudo with a new ribbon on her head. He wants to know where she got this from, and even rubs her head. He says that he finds her cute in this, and it makes her blush once again. She is about to talk about why she's really here, but then she gets distracted by a horrid sight. It turns out that Rekudo is living in a house that isn't even completed from the top. As a matter of fact, it's so bad that Reina can't even call it a kennel. Rekudo tries to defend his choices, but the guildmaster will not have any of it, because the house is not even able to keep him safe from rain or the wind. Anyway, there is no point in this chat, so she moves on to the reason for her arrival. It turns out that Reina wanted to see the strong man who had defeated her, and she starts to sing some praises, but our hero quickly gets why she's here. A monster has shown up and it is very hard to defeat unless someone is hired to do it. Since that is an expensive process, Reina decided to go to her lover boy for help. She says that she wanted to meet him all week, but was unable to do so because of her appointments. She goes on a different train of thought and starts talking about some nasty dreams, but Rakuto stops her from getting too excited and asks her to focus on the real reason she is here. Reina comes back to her senses and tells her lover boy that she has some information on the guardian ants. It looks like there are 7 burrows as of now, and there is a queen ant who is controlling all of the other soldier ants. Since they are just like normal ants, Rakuto figures that he can put the whole thing to an end if he just takes out the queen ant. However, Reina doesn't want him to do so because it is a very risky mission. She even looks at our hero with dreamy eyes. But he reminds her that she came here to ask him for that favor in the first place. She says that she doesn't want him to go because of her female hormones. But Rakuto tells her that he must join the mission. This is because a real man would not let a woman stop him from doing what he is supposed to do. Also, he knows that Natsumi will probably be asked to go ahead and fight the ants because she is currently atoning for her sin. He would want her to be free as soon as possible, so he will take on these ants and save the town. It's time to go to the subjugation meeting, so Reina summons her dragon to take her there. Rakuto finds this to be impressive, because riding a dragon is no small feat. This only makes Reina feel shy because it's not that big of a deal, and she's not used to hearing such things being said to her face. Rakuto is to sit behind her, and it leads to an awkward scene between them. Both of them try their best to remain calm, but Reina can't stop thinking about her lover boy behind her. As a matter of fact, she starts to drift away into her fantasy world, so Rakuto has to ask her to snap back to reality. However, Reina's heart starts to beat fast, so she ends up fainting out of love by the time she and Rakuto reach the meeting point. Our hero enters the room and spots a lot of species that are seated for discussion. One of the members asks him who he is, but Rakuto gives a cold stare and asks them for their name first. It happens to be a girl named Cecilia Ferguson, who is known as the iron-crushing axe and the 20th strongest rank. She keeps talking about her family being noble and wealthy, while also praising her own skills to no end. Our hero simply replies by stating his F rank, but that makes Cecilia upset because she is much higher than him in rank. She is not happy with his attitude, but then Reina tells her to calm down because Rakuto was able to beat her easily, and she is the 10th most powerful rank. Cecilia is shocked to hear this and asks Reina if she has lost her powers, but she says that is not the case. With Cecilia calm now, Reina proceeds to talk about the enemy. It looks like there are around 8,000 to 10,000 enemy ants, so a plan needs to be followed. She takes out a draft that was used in a similar situation 8 years ago. The plan is quite detailed and will require 3 squads in total, with the elite squad being used to defeat the Queen Ant. It's time to choose the members of this squad, but Cecilia says that the draft plan being used from 8 years ago had a lot of damage dealt to the squads, which means the plan might not be as good as it sounds. Reina is open to any new suggestions, so Cecilia says that one person should disguise themselves as an ant and then create an explosion from inside. The only problem with this is that the person playing the role of the bomber will have to give away their life. Cecilia is fine with this and suggests using a prisoner for the plan, but Reina is against it because that would go against the rules. Cecilia is still fixated on this plan because she would rather have the prisoners pass away than guild members. She even confesses that she was the leader of the battle against the wyverns where she was the only survivor. She had made prisoners come with her and gave them slow-acting poison so that they could end the wyverns even if they got eaten up. Cecilia clearly has no remorse or soul because the prisoners who had survived the battle ended up passing away because the antidote could not be given to them in time. This is why Reina is against her ways and continues to say no to whatever she is suggesting. However, Cecilia brings up the fact that Reina is a criminal's daughter, which is why she is still siding with them. It turns out that Reina's father had committed sins for selfish reasons, and she had to suffer for them in the form of experiment. She lost her left eye because of this, and was eventually forgiven when the scientists got their results. The chat between her and Cecilia keeps going on, but our hero has had enough of this, so he asks them to shut up. Cecilia does not like his tone, especially since he is a commoner, but Rakuto tells her that his family also comes from nobility and she should not challenge him. The bratty princess simply calls him a cockroach and demands a duel. Our hero tells her that they should be fighting ant monsters, not people, and even calls her a fool for wasting time. Rakuto doesn't see the difference between fighting an ant and fighting Cecilia, so he continues to mock her, but then someone else joins the conversation. It's a succubus girl by the name of Orly, who is the 6th most powerful rank. She happens to be the strongest in the room, and asks him to accept Cecilia's challenge. This is basically for him to show his strength to everyone over here, even though Orly can sense that he is not a normal man. As a matter of fact, his mana knows no end, so it would be good if he could give a glimpse of his skills. Cecilia is confident that she will make him beg for mercy, so she summons her sword and charges at Rakuto. As expected, our hero crushes her sword with ease and even mocks her by saying he made a mistake thinking she was as strong as Reina. With one blow, Cecilia is on the ground, barely able to collect herself, and does something embarrassing in front of everyone. With no honor left to show, she agrees to follow a more humane method of fighting the ants. However, Rakuto says that won't be necessary because he can just go to the queen himself and get the job done. As expected, this shocks everyone in the room and Reina tells him he's being mad for even suggesting this. However, our hero is confident that he can pull this off by himself because he only needs to defeat the queen. Even then, he will need to defeat at least 1,000 ants on his way to meet her, so Reina tries to talk some sense into her lover boy. Rakuto says he knows what he's doing and has an 80% chance of pulling it off. After all, it would take at least 7 or 8 people like Cecilia to even match what he's capable. He does agree that there might be a chance of him failing, in which case, only one person gets sacrificed, but then the others will need to come up with a new plan of attack. Cecilia goes on to say that she will crawl like a dog and lick his feet if he's able to pull off what he's saying. However, Rakuto ignores her and talks to Orly instead. She thinks his power has blinded him, but he says that they're just from different worlds. The argument carries on for a while, but Rakuto eventually has his way, and he gets Reina to do as he says. For starters, he wants to take Natsumi on the mission with him, because if everything works out, he can free her from her duties. Reina instantly agrees to his terms and gives him the authority to act on his own during this mission. Our hero begins his work by studying the ants and their ecology for 3 days. Then, he is finally reunited with Natsumi, who is happy to see him. Reina doesn't feel the same way, because she views Natsumi as a competitor for Rakuto's love. Along with Natsumi is another prisoner named Mia, because it is unusual to loan prisoners to individuals. Due to this, Reina got these 2 girls loaned to the guild and has transferred them to Rakuto. Our hero shows his appreciation by rubbing her head again, and it makes her blush like a cherry. Reina does admit that she doesn't like being made to bring her own rival to her lover, but she is helpless against Rakuto's affection. After all, she doesn't want people to think that she is a lewd woman who can be pleased easily. However, Rakuto calls her cute once again and she decides to leave before bursting into emotions once again. She tells her lover boy not to do anything silly with Natsumi, and then she leaves on her dragon. Our hero can finally greet Natsumi properly, but she pounces on him out of pure joy. He tries to calm her down because there is someone else in attendance as well. This is Mia, who had decided to follow Natsumi into the life of atoning for her sins because she is her leader. The other members of the girl gang are busy with their own lives, so Rakuto cuts the small talk and gets down to business. He has taken down an army of guardian ants, and he wants the girls to spread their scent all over his clothes. Natsumi and Mia don't seem to understand his intentions and call him a hentai man for even thinking about such an idea. He tries to convince the girls that he has planned everything carefully and this is not some kind of twisted fantasy. Natsumi even tries to act like an ant to make him excited, but our hero explains that the surface of these ants is coated with some kind of wax which emits a pheromone. This chemical helps the other ants figure out if they are friends or foes, which is why Rakuto wants to deceive them by having the pheromone all over his clothes. The girls are a bit confused, but after Rakuto explains the point in further detail, they agree to rub the ant wax all over his clothes. Of course, Natsumi goes crazy because she has her master's clothes in her hands right now. She tries to hide the fact that she's having a lot of fantasies running wild in her head, so Rakuto calls her out for being a hentai girl. This hurts her feelings, but Natsumi is fine with it because she loves her master. Without further ado, the girls get to work, but are unable to proceed with much success. That's when Rakuto decides to take over and he starts slicing through the ants like he's chopping onion. The girls are amazed to see his skills, so he says that sometimes, a knife can only be used properly when the right amount of dexterity is at play. Mia figures that Rakuto is an overpowered boss man, and he does not need anyone to assist him. However, Natsumi says that she will do whatever she can to help her master, even if she isn't able to do much for him. Later, Rakuto and Natsumi head to a different building and leave Mia behind to watch over the house. Here, they find a bunny girl named Ramana who works here. She is carrying a lot of boxes, so Rakuto helps her out, but Natsumi becomes jealous. In a bid to explain who she is, our hero gently taps Ramana's head, but she gets excited and asks him not to do that. Rakuto is here to sell ant abdomens, so he releases all of them through his magic bracelet. Ramana does agree to buy them, but she states a lower price than what our hero would have expected. He brings it up, and Ramana panics because she knows she's made a mistake. Either way, Rakuto is fine with the price she has stated, and is willing to sell the ant parts for that amount. Ramana gets embarrassed and feels like Rakuto is always going easy on her. He says it's fine because he wants a favor from her, which is to be introduced to a blacksmith, preferably a skilled one. It's an urgent need, so Ramana doesn't know what to do. But then a woman named Ramina shows up. She says that Rakuto can take Ramana with him because she knows the way to a blacksmith. All of this is fine, but the problem is that Ramina is not wearing any clothes. The other girls panic and cover Rakuto's eyes so that he doesn't get to peek at Ramina's body. As our hero is made to look away from the scene, Ramana asks Ramina why she is roaming around in public like this. She doesn't seem to have any problems with this, so Ramana tells her to be watchful since Rakuto is a man. However, she wants him to see her in this state because she wants to become his wife in the future. This is a bit much because she has only just met him, but she states that she can sense his power and morals. Ramina starts to act cute around him, and he starts to get nervous when she says she'll show off her body as many times as she wants. Our hero asks her to wear some clothes and then takes Ramana with him as he runs away from the shop. Natsumi has seen all of this and starts to feel jealous, so she holds onto her master's arm to feel better. She confesses that Rakuto is a very popular man, and she would love to simply be his assistant, even though it is very clear that she is madly in love with him. Natsumi decides that she is going to work hard and make Rakuto like her, which even Ramana agrees to as both the girls hold onto our hero's arms for comfort. On the other hand, the only things Rakuto can think about are the wonders of the female body. The trio finally makes it to a blacksmith, and after a bride session, Rakuto gets a fine sword crafted for him. With everything set as per his plan, our hero decides to get some rest, so he heads to his bed for a nice nap. However, he sees his entire harem of admirers waiting for him, looking cute. He thinks he's just seeing things at first, but Reina confirms that the girls are indeed sitting in front of him. He doesn't get why there are so many women to greet him when he has a huge fight the next day. Reina gives him a quick kiss and explains that she wants his seed because he doesn't know if he is going to come back. Rakuto remains clueless as she says she wants him to do the nasty with her. She even hugs him to confirm that she wants this. But it's not just her who has this in mind. Natsumi says she also wants to be a part of this as she was the first one to fall in love with Rakuto. Mia says he can consider her a bonus, and even Ramina and Ramana offer themselves to our hero. With so many girls being so cute in front of him, Rakuto believes it would be rude to refuse them. He proceeds to get down and dirty with all the girls in a lengthy sequence, and proceeds to leave for his mission, feeling a sense of accomplishment. Before he sets out, he has a brief chat with Mia, who tells him about the difficult past she had to live. Because of this, she does not believe in God, but it's something to cheer for when she met Natsumi after her village burned down. They became friends after Natsumi had shared her food and water with Mia, and then they became bandits. The girls knew what they were doing, and Mia never thought that it was a bad thing. Of course, all of this changed when they met Rakuto. Our hero is still not able to understand what Mia is trying to say, because she talks about how the previous night was her way of thanking him for showing the girl gang his kindness. Mia proceeds to give him a kiss and says that she enjoyed the experience, even if it was shared with many other girls. The fact is that she has fallen in love with Rakuto for good. This is why she wants him to come back alive, as she won't be able to carry on without him. It's an emotional moment, but Reina is in the background listening to the whole thing. She realizes that being with many women might feel good, but what happens after may not always be a pleasant thing. He even goes on to say that she doesn't matter what position she comes in, as long as Natsumi is first and Reina is second. She wants to say more, but Rakuto gets the idea and gives her a hug. He also pats her head and promises to make it back safe, which lifts Mia's mood. However, Reina seems to be feeling down because her body isn't as curvy as the other girls. Our hero catches her in the middle of this, so she funnily tries to act innocent with him. After a brief chat about the military strategy, she tells Rakuto that she loves him way too much and even places him above her guild. This is why she has decided to join him in battle, as she cannot live with the anxiety of what is happening to him. Rakuto doesn't try to resist what she's saying, because she has already informed the others about her decision. Instead, he rubs some of the ant wax on her to make her seem friendly. Reina is made to test her wax almost instantly, as the duo comes across some ant monsters in the middle of the forest. Luckily for them, the ants pass by without even looking at the couple. They eventually find a burrow that matches the description of the one which leads to the queen ant. Both Rakuto and Reina enter this burrow, hoping to find the source of all this chaos and end it for good. A thrilling sequence follows, as our heroes manage to sneak past the ants without even alerting them. However, their mission hits a minor roadblock when they come across a diversion with 3 different paths. It's a tricky scene, but Reina gets to work and starts sniffing for clues. Rakuto finds her tactics cute, but she can only sense normal ants in all 3 passages. As per the previous reports, the queen is said to be living in the burrow which slides downwards. After careful thinking, the couple decides to take the left passage because it seems to be the most likely path towards the queen ant. Rakuto thanks Reina for her inputs, but she tries to hide her excitement by saying such things are expected from guild leaders. After a brief search, the couple comes across a giant hole that leads to a narrow path. Rakuto isn't sure if they should follow this route, but Reina spots a shining light at the end of the hole. This means that the queen ant could be down there, so Rakuto figures he should carry Reina and jump into the hole. She is a little shy to be carried by her lover boy, but our hero does it regardless, and she starts blushing. The couple has a smooth drop because Rakuto uses his sword to hang on to the edges as they fall towards their target. After this, they find themselves in a strange room, but Reina has to calm herself down first. There are lots of doors in front of them, so Reina has to check for traps first. She doesn't seem to sense any kind of shady scent ahead of them, but she isn't too sure about it either. With that, Rakuto decides to take the risk and starts opening the doors. First up, he finds a lot of fruits behind one door. These fruits don't seem to be poisonous, and are actually tasty too, as Reina takes a bite out of them. However, the couple soon realizes that they're in a rather deadly space. Out of nowhere, they come across a chimera, which is basically a lion with wings. Rakuto doesn't know how powerful such a beast is, so Reina explains that it's on par with a phantom. This means that the chimera is an extremely deadly monster, and its laser beam can reach as high as 4,000 degrees. On top of that, it's also known to have ended the lives of over 3,000 mercenaries with just a single blow. The chimera charges up for a laser blast, so Reina asks for 3 minutes to distract the beast. She is sure that she can end it if her lover boy distracts the monster for long enough, but that isn't even needed. Our hero simply charges at the chimera and takes it down with his sword technique Cherry Blossom Slash. Reina is stunned and at a loss for words, because she can't understand what just happened. She scolds Rakuto for being reckless, but he's actually disappointed because the monster was beaten with just a single whack. Rakuto isn't even harmed, so there's no cause for concern. Despite this, Reina maintains that he is the strongest person she has ever come across, and his power level is simply insane. Our hero looks at the hole in the wall that he just created and decides to carry on with the search. It doesn't go as he would have liked, because he and Reina come across more chimeras. Rakuto takes down 3 of them at the same time, but an even larger army shows up. Our hero manages to defeat quite a few of them while Reina charges herself, but he starts to struggle after a certain point. Luckily, Reina manages to unleash her Fang Dragon just in time to destroy all the remaining beasts. However, she falls down because she has used up too much mana to get the job done. Rakuto tends to her, and learns that she was experimented on as early as the age of 4. The side effect to her powers is that she is not able to move after using a lethal attack like the Fang Dragon. They wait for a bit till Reina regains her strength, and then they move forward. Our hero is worried about Reina for being too reckless with her powers, but she seems fine with what she's doing. They pass through some other routes, and also consider the chances of finding soldier ants next to the queen. Soon enough, Reina picks up on a scent that is not the same as a normal ant. Sensing an opportunity, Rakuto and Reina take this route, but they come across something odd. There seems to be a human over here, and she is a slave of the queen ant. This is a rather shocking discovery, but even the human slave doesn't quite understand what's going on till Rakuto questions her. She panics and brings out her giant sword to attack the couple, but our hero takes her down with ease. She falls to the ground and is defeated, but then Rakuto looks up and finds an entire harem of human slaves who are serving the ant queen. He doesn't know what to do, because he would prefer not to fight these cute girls. However, it's at this time when he hears another voice talking to him. It's none other than the ant queen herself, and she orders her slaves to bring the intruders towards her. She actually tries to strike a deal with Reina and Rakuto because she finds them to be useful. Basically, the ant queen attacks other beings and turns them into her own for the purpose of evolution. This is why she has chimeras and humans guarding her nest. Rakuto doesn't look impressed and asks her what happens to those who are not useful. The answer he gets is not a pleasant one, so he decides to go against the ant queen. Her words have no effect on him, even as she tries to mock his morals and ethics. As a matter of fact, Rakuto draws his sword and asks her if they can make this a duel. The ant queen accepts it, but Reina thinks it's a bad idea. She wants to help her lover boy, but he says that he's got this. Even then, Reina takes out a little knife and asks him if she can join him in the afterlife if he fails against the ant queen. There's no time for drama, so our hero says yes to her and begins his face-off. It's a tense scene as both the fighters square off against each other. Rakuto makes the first move by using his sword and calling upon the Dance of Death move, Sky Slash. However, this move has no effect on the Ant Queen and she gives it back to our hero with even more brute force. She feels like she has won the battle after landing a clean blow, but to her shock and amazement, nothing happens to Rakuto. The Ant Queen does not understand what's going on, so he tells her that he's at least 3 times stronger than an elite human being. He decides to land a finisher move on his target and jumps at her. Now, Rakuto unleashes his Moon God Funeral attack and takes down the Ant Queen with ease. She is amazed that he was able to get so closer, and Rakuto realizes that he is much more lethal if he gets closer to his target. However, the Ant Queen manages to survive the blow and tries one last trick on Rakuto. She does admit that he has earned her respect and would like them to be friends in the next life. Our hero doesn't have time for this, so he lands another finisher move and ends the Ant Queen. The problem here is that he was being held up by her power, so now he's going to fall without a painless solution. He accepts his fate and takes the head, but it doesn't really do any damage to him. Reina rushes towards her lover boy and gives him a tight hug to show her relief. Their romance is interrupted by the Ant Queen, who is now only a head. She asks Rakuto to come closer to her, because it's painful for her to use any effort when she's like this. Reina is scared, but Rakuto reassures her that the Ant Queen would not do something as cowardly as cheating. He moves closer to her, and she tells him that her daughter is going to be born soon. With her mother not around, she would like Rakuto to raise her. This comes as a surprise to our hero, because he is the one who ended the Ant Queen in the first place. However, she says that only the strongest warrior could defeat her, which is why she wants her children to be raised by such a person. This way, they can become even stronger than she ever was. The two of them have an emotional chat, because the Ant Queen believes Rakuto is a man who does not discriminate between species. She wants her child to be raised by such a man, and our hero eventually agrees to her request. After all, there's nothing a mother wants more than the happiness of her children. With their deal set in stone, the Ant Queen's body begins to process matter and transforms into mana. Rakuto doesn't understand what's going on, but then he sees a cute girl underneath all the debris. It's the Ant Queen's daughter, and she is not wearing any clothes. As expected, this makes things a little difficult for Rakuto, so he asks her to wear some clothes. She asks him if this is an order, because she was instructed by her mother to listen to him no matter what. Our hero's honor is at stake, so he tells her that it is indeed an order to cover her body, and she does so obediently. Reina takes a look at the child and asks for context, so Rakuto explains what the Ant Queen had told him. Reina doesn't know if this is a good idea, but Rakuto does, so he decides to go home now. On their way out, our heroes encounter all the cute human slaves who were working for the Ant Queen. They do not have any leader now, so they make Rakuto their king. It's a sudden development, but the Ant Girls are ready to do anything for their king, so he decides to give them clear instruction. They are not to attack humans or anyone else, and if anything were to happen, then they should send someone to Reina with a message. Now that all of this is clear, Rakuto looks at the Ant Queen's daughter and gently pats her on her head, which she obviously likes. Of course, Reina doesn't like this one bit, because the competition just got wider. Anyway, the three of them head back to town, and Rakuto asks if he can go visit the other girls. Reina says that they must first go to the guild and present a detailed report, but Rakuto says that he should at least show Natsumi that he is alive and well. Reina can't argue with her lover boy, so she says it's okay for them to take a short break. As he makes his victorious return, our hero is given a tight hug by Natsumi. He is pleased to meet his harem girls again, and it takes up a lot of his time. Reina sees this, so she offers to give the guild report by herself. She leaves the scene, and then Rakuto falls asleep with the Ant Queen's daughter by his side. He wakes up to the smell of delicious food, as Natsumi has prepared a meal for him while he was asleep. Actually, all the harem girls had a hand in making this meal, so they watch nervously as Natsumi gives the playboy his first bite. Luckily, Rakuto thinks the food is tasty, so the girls rejoice. They start taking credit for the roles and tasks they had taken up, and Rakuto has a good time with them. The attention shifts to the ant girl, and Rakuto offers her food, but she isn't able to eat. He wonders what could be wrong, but then he realizes that baby ants are unable to eat by themselves in the start. With no other option, he takes a bite of the food and then transfers it to the ant girl's mouth via a kiss. As expected, this makes her blush, and the other girls become increasingly jealous of the special treatment. They also want to be given food this way, so they make their lover boy do the same thing to each and every one of them. In the middle of this hilarious sequence, Reina drops by and demands to be given the same treatment. She forgives her lover boy for these sneaky kisses, but she has also come with an envelope. It contains the agenda for the post-subjugation meeting, and Rakuto is certain that the guild will have an issue with him taking care of the Ant Queen's child. However, things go much simpler than expected, and it is only Reina who takes extra caution. After the formalities are done with, we learn that Natsumi and Mei are freed from their sins and everyone has a happy ending. This can be taken in the literal sense as well, because Rakuto gives some heaven on earth to Reina for her help during his mission. After he's done with her, our hero decides to enjoy himself with the other girls from his harem. After getting done with his playful activities, our hero Rakuto goes to feed his new ant girl Ria her food. She is shown to be getting better and can eat with a spoon now, so Rakuto doesn't have to worry about transferring the food through kisses. Then, he moves on to feed Reina, who also wants to be fed by her lover boy. However, he has to put her on his lap, and it makes her feel a little shy. She asks why she needs to be seated like this, and our hero simply says that she's short, so it's easier if she's in his lap. Mia and Natsumi also want this special treatment, so they convince Rakuto to do the same with them. They open their mouths for a nice treat, but Rimina walks in at that very moment. She thinks that our hero is letting his intrusive thoughts take over early in the morning, but he simply asks her if she needs something. She says that there is a problem with a coffee shop which is being run by one of her friends. Basically, a new store has been built close to it, which means she's losing customers. Rakuto wants to act on this as soon as possible, but Rimina thinks that he's being too impulsive. Our hero says that he can't just sit here and ignore a request from a pretty girl like Ramina, so it makes her blush. With that, Rakuto and his harem rush to the coffee shop where they meet Rimina's friend who is a cat girl. She asks Rimina who these people are, and is told that they are the ones that are going to help her. The girl introduces herself as Tana, but she seems to know Rakuto as a playboy who likes to play with many girls at the same time. Of course, this makes Rakuto a little conscious, so he says that he hasn't played with all the girls he knows. Tana doesn't care about that, but she does mention how Rimina keeps praising her lover boy, especially after he came to shop at her store. Of course, this leads to an awkward moment for Rimina, but it's fine because all the other girls also talk about their playboy master the same way. Instead of the girls getting upset about it, they only end up liking Rakuto even more, but this isn't the time to let their fantasies run loose, so Rakuto sits down with Tana and asks her about the issues she's facing. She explains that she used to be an adventurer like Rimina, but it was always her dream to open a coffee shop. In order to make this dream a reality, she worked very hard and saved enough money to start her own store. The store was doing good business as well, but then she was met with an obstacle in the form of a competitor. The main problem she's facing is that the other store shares a lot of flyers and they price their whole menu at a much cheaper rate. Tana can't compete with them at all, so she is losing all her customers to this new enemy. She is visibly worried, so Rakuto asks her if she has ever visited the store. Tana looks shocked and says that she would never do such a thing. But our hero tells her that she needs to study her competition if she wants to learn from them. After all, it's not like pricing could be the only problem for her, and there might be other plans that the opposition store is using. Tana feels upset about this, but she knows that Rakuto is making sense, so she agrees to go to the store and see what they're doing. With that, Rakuto, Tana, and the harem girls head to the opposition store and take a table. The place definitely looks like it's doing a lot of business, and then the waitress arrives with the menu. Our hero takes one look at it and is shocked to see that the prices are half of what Tana is offering. He looks at the waitress in disbelief and asks her how the coffee shop is able to offer such prices. She simply says that it's a promotional price to commemorate the opening of the coffee shop. But even then, there's a limit to the amount of discounts that you can give. Upon asking the duration of the offer, Rakuto is only told that no decision has been made on that yet. Something doesn't seem right, so our hero asks Reina if it is legal to sell such cheap products in this country. She says that the seller is free to choose the prices they sell their items at, so it makes Rakuto a little concerned. The girls ask their lover boy why he's feeling so low all of a sudden, and he replies by saying it's a criminal sin to sell goods at such low prices. However, his words catch the attention of another cat girl and she shows up to say that Rakuto should not call her a criminal. She doesn't find anything wrong with what the coffee shop is doing, and she says that the promotion can go on for as long as she likes because no decision has been made on the duration as of now. Of course, the main idea here is to sell products so cheaply that the other stores run out of business and close down. Just like how Tana is facing problems with her own coffee shop, once there is no one else left to compete. The new store can choose to sell its products at whatever price it would prefer. Reina is upset to hear such an evil plan. And then we learn that this cat girl is Camille Felix. She is supposed to be very famous because she had created a special cuisine using her creative seasoning when she was just 6 years old. This earned her the nickname Emperor of Seasoning, and she has made a lot of money through her cuisine. Camille goes on to thank Tana for making her store such a success, but this confuses everyone. Camille explains that for a store to work, she needed to find a place where people would already gather in numbers, and that happened to be Tana's coffee shop. This was the main reason why she chose to open her store right next to hers. Camille switches to her villain mode and says that she enjoys seeing the face of a beaten loser coming to her store to admit defeat. Tana is visibly in tears after hearing this, but Rakuto is not going to lose focus so easily. He decides to place an order for the food, which makes the other girls confused. However, our hero knows that he needs to find out what's so special about the food here, because he can choose a counter method accordingly. After taking a bite of the first dish, he instantly identifies the secret ingredient to be mayonnaise, which surprises Camille because not many people know about it in this world. Tana also takes a bite of the food, and sadly admits that she can't match the taste of Camille's meals. This makes the evil cat girl even happier as she has now seen the face of a loser. This might feel like entertainment to her, but Rakuto continues to taste the food, and the next item is ramen, which Camille likes to call her special pasta soup. After tasting the ramen, our hero realizes that it is actually miso ramen. This is almost as if a person from Japan came to this world and used their knowledge to make these dishes a huge success. Rakuto asks Reina if Camille was indeed 6 years old when she invented her dishes, and she says that it's what she has heard from other people. Our hero gives it some thought and suspects that Camille is also a human from Earth who has been reincarnated into the body of a cat girl, but with all her memories still in place. It's the only logical explanation for now, but the only thing Camille wants to see right now is Tiana admitting defeat after tasting her dishes. Her words are a bit too cold, so it makes Rakuto upset as he slams the table with rage. Camille tries to act tough and says that nothing will change even if Rakuto were to hit her. She even calls him a loser, but then something odd happens. Camille falls to the ground and starts acting weird by exposing herself to Rakuto. Our hero has no wish to see her body, but it looks like Camille isn't in control of her actions either. Rakuto wonders what could be causing this scene, and then he notices Ria looking at Camille with indifference. Rakuto figures that Ria's mom had special powers, so it makes sense for her to also have the same skills. This means that Ria can read our hero's heart and can act as per what he feels. The funny thing though, is that most of what Rakuto is thinking has to do with his harem and their unspeakable acts. Ria and Rakuto have a telepathic chat for a bit, but it looks like Ria also wants to be violated like the other girls of our hero's harem. Before he can think about it, Rakuto is scolded by Camille because she is sure that he was the one who made her expose herself to him. Of course, Rakuto tries to show that he has no idea about it, but Camille continues to accuse him. Either way, it's not like our hero cares much about Camille's body, so she asks him to leave her shop. Rakuto agrees to leave with his girls, but Ria plays one more prank on Camille on their way out. Our hero starts to laugh in front of his girls, so they ask what's so funny. Rakuto brushes aside the topic and instead tells them that everything is going to be fine for Tiana. He has figured that Camille's dishes rely heavily on the seasoning, and since he's from Japan, he knows about the ingredients she's using. The boost for him is that he is a summoned human, so he can use chaos magic to take the lead over the evil cat girl. Of course, it would be better if he had someone to assist him with this, especially someone from the shop, because he can then learn about the shop's true intentions. At this very moment, Cecilia shows up once again, but Rakuto mocks her by saying her name incorrectly. She tries to remind everyone that she holds a high rank, but Rakuto is only interested in knowing if she visits Camille's shop. It turns out that Cecilia loves mayonnaise, so she visits the place quite often. This is perfect for Rakuto, so he takes the spoilt brat to the side and asks her to taste some dishes. She just needs to give her honest opinions on them, but she wants to know why she should help Rakuto. Our hero tries to say that they are friends, but then Cecilia says that she has to thank him for defeating the Ant Queen. After all, she did not trust his methods and was against his whole plan, but Rakuto had proven her wrong and saved the people of this kingdom. Cecilia says that she wants to offer her services to Rakuto as a means of saying sorry, and our hero believes that she's doing the right thing. However, he reminds her that she had made a promise to crawl around like a dog and lick his feet if he ended up destroying the ant nest. Cecilia doesn't want to fulfill her promise, so she tries to act as if she doesn't remember saying it. Rakuto doesn't let her off that easy and mocks her nobility in the process. Anyway, this is not the focus of Rakuto's mission, so he brings out the dishes for the girls to try. Everyone takes a bite of the first sample, and while most of the girls love the taste, Cecilia seems to have a problem with it. She does admit that the taste is amazing, but after eating the food at Camille's place, this one tastes like garbage to her. This makes Rakuto smack her in the head because there's a limit to giving honest opinions. After the hilarious chat, the consensus is that Tiana's food is still no match for Camille's. Rakuto realizes that this world does not have a lot of fatty food, which is why something as simple as mayonnaise can become an instant hit. Without further ado, he decides to go ahead and make it, which makes the other girls wonder what he's thinking about. However, Rakuto names all the ingredients needed to make the sauce, and even goes on to create a bowl of mayonnaise in front of the girls. There is no doubt that he has made the exact same thing that Camille uses in her food, so he asks Tiana to use it in her own dish. She is pleased to see this, but she also has other intentions in mind. Tiana liked seeing Rakuto cook for her, so she gets close to him and asks if he can do it again for her. Of course, the other girls notice this and call her out for being shady, but she manages to reason with them, and even Rakuto thinks it's fine. Mia tells Tiana that she will also have to do lewd things with Rakuto, which makes her a little uneasy. However, all the other harem girls say that it's a lot of fun, and it only makes sense if you want to do it. Tiana blushes and says that she was not thinking about doing anything like that, and she just wanted to cook together with Rakuto in the kitchen. Our hero calms her down by rubbing her head and calls her cute. With this new motivation, Tiana gets to work and makes a dish using the mayonnaise. She presents it to everyone to try, and Cecilia takes a bite as well. This time, the dish is amazing and tastes brilliant, but Cecilia seems to enjoy it a bit too much, as can be seen in the way she's imagining the noodles around her. Ria can read her mind, so she takes a mental screenshot and sends it to Rekudo via telepathy. Our hero is shocked to see how nasty Cecilia's thoughts are, but it's fine as long as she's enjoying the meal. Cecilia finally speaks and says that the dish is violently delicious, almost as if she is being entangled in tentacles. Our hero makes a funny face as she has just described what she was having a fantasy about in her head. The important thing, though, is that the dish is good enough to compete against Camille. The other girls try the food and they feel the same way, but the only problem now is the pricing. Camille's shop is way too cheap for Chana to match, but Rekudo says that he has another idea. The girls are eager to know what he has in mind, and our hero reveals that Chana can start a maid cafe, just like how it is in Japan. The girls have never heard of this concept before, so they don't know if it will work, but Rekudo is sure that it will be a huge success. He explains that the girls will have to serve the customers while being dressed as maids, and they can offer games and services too. None of the harem girls have any clue of Rekudo's plan, and even he admits that he won't be able to explain the beauty of the concept to them. Anyway, the girls decide to give it a shot, and Natsumi decides to be the first one to learn. In order to show them the ways of a maid, Rekudo decides to dress up as one, and the girls find him much cuter than before. Natsumi is overjoyed to see her lover boy like this, and then they start to roleplay with each other. Rekudo asks her what she would like to eat, but Natsumi is fine with anything. Our hero decides to give her a heart omelet and starts acting cute with his words. This makes Natsumi go crazy with love, and the girls start to understand why their playboy lover suggested this idea. Reina, on the other hand, is shocked to see the curvy change in Rekudo's body, as she doesn't know he's using pads that he had made with magic. She wonders if she can also get a curvy body by eating this food, and Rekudo plays along for the heck of it. Cecilia just watches in the background as Rekudo tends to all of his harem girls and makes them all fall more in love with him. She gets jealous and scolds the player for ignoring her, so he asks if she would also like to be treated. She tries to act cool, but eventually loses her patience after seeing all the girls having so much fun with Rekudo. Cecilia has had enough, so she calls Rekudo a fool and leaves the place. Our hero has the option to follow her, but he chooses not to do so because he already has so many pretty girls in front of him. Cecilia actually storms back into the shop and asks Rekudo why he isn't chasing after her, and he calmly says that he knew she was going to do this. Our hero changes back into his true form, and Reina is upset that his curvy figure was just a scam. Luckily, all the girls have now realized how important a maid dress is to boost sales. As they discuss how to go about the maid cafe, Rekudo thinks out loud by saying maids are good, but the dresses can be changed to look more pleasing to the eye. He does not realize that the harem girls can hear him, so he's in for a shock when they call him out for being shady. Our hero does not back away, and instead he says that having intrusive thoughts is fine. Of course, Cecilia thinks he's being creepy and tries to rally the girls against him, but Natsumi says that she's already given her body to Rekudo for unspeakable acts. The other girls also admit that they enjoy doing naughty things with their lover boy, and it shocks Cecilia. She thinks that everyone has become shady thanks to Rekudo, but our hero ignores her words and says that he wants to dress her up as a maid too. Cecilia is hesitant at first, but then she asks what kind of outfit she needs to wear. Rekudo tells her that she should wear a slave maid collar, and she gets upset upon hearing it. Our hero explains that the slave maid is the highest maid level that can be achieved, because everyone loves to be served by them. Cecilia still finds the whole thing to be senseless, so Rekudo tries one last resort. He says that only Cecilia can fulfill this role because she is a noble and people love to scold noble. The whole idea of her nobility coming to play is what makes Cecilia agree to the role of slave maid. With Cecilia's role set, it's up to the other girls to decide what they're going to wear. Reina is a little shy to try on the maid costume, but then Natsumi decides to spice things up for everyone. She says that everyone should try to dress as nicely as possible, and whoever manages to excite Rekudo the most will get to spend an entire day with him for unspeakable acts. All the girls are now motivated to work as maids, and even Cecilia has the option to be released from her promise if she plays her role well. However, Reina is still a little shy because she is not as curvy as the other girls. She feels that she will just look like a skeleton in comparison to the others, but the harem girls are surprised to see her thinking this way. Rekudo tries to cheer her up by saying she has skin, but it only makes Reina feel worse about her body. Our hero realizes that he has messed up, but then he manages to win Reina over by saying he really wants to see her in a maid outfit. She agrees to dress as a maid to please her lover boy, and Rekudo controls himself to avoid saying anything hurtful again. As the girls dress up in their maid costumes, Rekudo is given a bracelet that Reina goes on to explain. She says that it can emit all kinds of energy depending on the pulse of the person wearing it. The bracelet can change anything, even stones of nature, so it is put on Rakuto in order to judge his reactions. Basically, the girls will be able to assess how excited he gets upon seeing each of them in maid costumes. Our hero is told that the winner will get exclusive access to him for a day, and he agrees to it. Now, it's time to get into action, so Ria dresses up as a schoolgirl and orders for a steak to serve Rakuto. She is able to cut the steak on her own, but she makes an odd face and it worries Rakuto. Luckily, Ria finishes her cutting and then gives a bite of the steak to Rakuto. She flirts with her lover boy for a bit, but then time runs out, so she quickly gives him a kiss. Ria can't cheat, so she has to walk away for now and wait for the other girls to be done with their turns. Next up is Reina, who is feeling a little insecure, but Rakuto lifts her spirits by calling her cute. This lightens up her mood and then she proceeds to sit down with our hero. In a strange turn of events, Reina starts talking about various ways to defeat Camille's shop. Rakuto tells her that she should focus on getting him excited, but Reina is more than happy with him calling her cute, so she's won already. Now, Rakuto tells her that the main focus should be on one kind of menu that everyone knows and likes. It's the kids' menu, but Reina is confused to hear this. Rakuto explains by saying it's easy to prepare a kids' menu because children like to order for the same thing over and over again. Reina asks why adults can't like the same things as well, and it gets Rakuto thinking. After a series of thoughts, he decides to rename the kids' menu to the variety menu, which can be accessible after collecting 15 different flags. He also suggests throwing in an electric Pikachu toy for added effect, and the girls agree. After Reina comes Cecilia, who proudly announces herself as a slave maid. However, Rakuto notices that her outfit is not right, so he orders her to remove some clothing. She doesn't like the sound of this and acts like a victim, but our hero tells her that she has to act like a proper slave maid. Since he is her master, she has to do whatever he says, and Cecilia has to listen to him. She is told that her service is more important than her life, but she argues that Rakuto is asking for something weird. Our hero taunts her for being not up to the task, so Cecilia finally gives in and does as he says. Now, Rakuto asks her what service she will provide, but Cecilia says that she will tread on him with her bare feet. He is confused by this, but Cecilia says that a lot of men have asked her to do such things to them. Rakuto comes to the conclusion that Cecilia is only liked by odd men, and it makes her feel so bad that she drops to the ground. It's not a pleasant reality for her, but our hero tells her it's fine. Cecilia feels some hope and asks him if he can introduce her to some nice men, but her hopes are crushed when Rakuto instantly says no. This angers Cecilia, so she calls him names and storms out of the room. After Cecilia is Remina, and her outfit is clearly the most exciting out of everyone else. Even Rakuto is unable to keep a straight face, and he wonders if this is how she roams around in the city as well. Remina sits close to her lover boy and holds his arm. She acts shy and says that she's used to being an adventurer and ending monsters. However, she needs to be a spicy girl right now, so she suggests using some bread to make things more exciting. Of course, she's not an expert at this, so she can't perform the acts that Rakuto wants her to. Luckily, the playboy is able to take control of the situation and he flirts with Remina in a way that becomes too hot for her to handle. As expected, she passes out from the excitement and Rakuto is left wondering what just happened, with Remina's turn done. It's only Natsumi and Mia who are left for Rakuto to test. He is greeted by Mia, who is wearing an even spicier outfit than Remina. Her actions are a bit too romantic and even the playboy is not able to resist her. He wants to know why she has chosen such a risky outfit, so she says that it's all for her to please him. Mia decides to serve her lover boy with some nice breakfast, so she makes a mayonnaise sandwich for him. Our hero wants to use some other kind of mayonnaise on his maid girl, but he eventually gets the sandwich. He likes it a lot, so Mia asks him if she can be his 7th wife. Rakuto doesn't know why she wants such an odd position, but Mia says that she doesn't mind the position as long as she gets to be his wife. She feels it's better than being a mistress, but Rakuto doesn't get the difference. He eventually agrees to it, so Mia hugs him with joy and declares her love for him. With that, Mia's turn is done and our hero can finally rest from all the passion he was just feeling. Now, it's just Natsumi who's left, but before she can come, Ria enters the room and asks Rakuto if they can share a kiss. Our hero realizes that Ria might be feeling jealous because of the flirting that just happened with Mia. He tries to let her off easy by saying it will technically be her first kiss, so they should not do it in a hurry. However, Ria says that she has already been kissed by Rakuto multiple times for food. Our hero explains how the feeding process is not the same as a romantic kiss, but Ria could feel her warm heart whenever they would do it, so she decides to go for it anyway. With that, Rakuto has now given Ria her first proper kiss, and she walks away after saying she loves him. Our hero doesn't know what he's gotten himself into, but there's more to come as Natsumi walks into the room wearing a very spicy maid costume. Rakuto can't take his eyes off Natsumi, so she asks him not to stare at her for long. She's feeling very shy in this outfit, but our hero only has nasty thoughts in his mind, so he takes a quick peek. Natsumi is shocked by this behavior, but reasons with herself over the fact that her lover boy is an overpowered fighter. Rakuto explains that he's only doing this because Natsumi is cute, and he also reminds her that he is her master now and not her lover. With that, Natsumi becomes a good girl and does as Rakuto says. She sits next to him, but our hero just can't control himself anymore and lets his intrusive thoughts win. What follows is a rather nasty session, and our hero uses a device to make Natsumi's voice softer. After all, the other girls are right there, so they shouldn't be too loud. After a couple of sessions, it's time to announce the winner, and it's Natsumi by a landslide, as can be seen by the bracelet which had exploded due to Rakuto's passion. Reina knows that she never stood a chance against someone like Natsumi, but scolds Rakuto when he says it was the ear cleaning that totally won him over. Of course, Natsumi had cleaned a lot more than just his ears, so it's natural for Reina to get upset. Rakuto tries to explain that it's a type of play, but his words don't make any sense to Reina, so Ria steps in and drops her garments. It causes Reina to panic, and Rakuto asks Ria if this was her doing. She simply says this was the easier way out, but Rakuto knows he has to prove his point. He takes out an ear cleaner and approaches Reina with it. She worries that he's going to do something naughty to her, but our hero actually uses the tool to clean her ears. Reina enjoys it a lot, but it's only done from one side, so Rakuto tilts her over and does the other side as well. With Reina completely satisfied, it's time for Natsumi to now tell her lover boy what she wants from him, since she has won the challenge. However, she says that she doesn't want anything in particular because she loves Rakuto. She does have one request though, and that's for Rakuto to keep her by his side forever. Our hero is impressed by her words, so he asks if Natsumi is ready to follow him. She doesn't get what he's trying to say, so Rakuto confirms from Natsumi that she will only serve him and no one else. This gesture makes the other girls want their playboy lover even more, and they say that they will also be by his side forever. As a matter of fact, they don't even want Rakuto to dress up as a maid and serve anyone at the cafe. The girls decide that they will simply find some other people to help Tiana with her work. It's time to move on to the next plan of action, so Rakuto takes Natsumi on piggyback and jumps his way to the monster ant colony. Since he had defeated the queen ant, he is now the king of these monsters, and he is greeted by another ant girl. Our hero explains what the situation is and asks for some ant soldiers to help him with the cafe. The ant girl thinks for a bit and states that she can offer some of her best people for the job. Rakuto maintains that he just wants people with basic skills and common sense because he's not interested in causing any problems. The ant girl takes note and calls out another ant girl by mentioning Ria's name. Suddenly, the girl appears and she seems to be very eager to meet Ria. Rakuto doesn't know what's going on, so the ant girl explains that this new person is called Saruka. She was created to be Ria's main bodyguard, and she is programmed to be loyal to the king of the ants. This way, our hero can rest assured that Saruka will get the job done and not be a hassle to him. We also learn that the reason why Saruka hasn't been able to see Ria till now is because the ant soldiers can't leave the forest unless the king allows them to do so. This means that Rakuto will need to give Saruka permission to leave the forest if he wants to use her abilities for the maid cafe. He thinks about it for a bit and asks Natsumi for her advice. She says that she would feel horrible if she was not allowed to see her lover boy and even starts crying just from thinking about it. Rakuto tries to calm her down, but the mere thought of losing her master makes Natsumi burst into tears, although in hilarious fashion. Seeing Natsumi in this condition makes Rakuto wonder about the other girls as well, so he decides to allow Saruka and her team of guards to come with him. They enter the maid cafe where Ria is chilling with Mia. Seeing their mistress makes the ant girl squad extremely happy, and even Ria walks towards them to see who they are. However, Saruka gets a bit too excited and pounces on Ria out of joy. As expected, Ria doesn't want so much drama, so she uses her powers to smash Saruka to the ground. Rakuto is impressed by her powers, and Saruka thinks that Ria is feeling lonely, which is why she attacked her. Of course, Ria doesn't agree with her, but the Ant Girl squad simply tease her for not being honest with them. She goes to hide behind Rakuto for support, and our hero wonders if he made the right choice by letting these Ant Girls in. Now, everything is set for the team to open the maid cafe. And then we shift to Camille, who is thinking of ways to make Rakuto regret what he did to her earlier. The next morning, she wakes up to the sounds of pretty girls and looks outside her window to see the harem dressed as maids. Camille is shocked by this and wonders how they know about maid cafes in the first place. The maid cafe opens in full flow, and they start getting a lot of customers right from the start. The Ant Girls have also joined the squad, and they begin sharing the orders from the customers. Tiana is up to the task and prepares all the dishes, which means she's back in business. All seems to be going well, and Rakuto is pleased to see how effective the Ant Girl squad actually. In the middle of this, Reina shows up and praises her lover boy for pulling off such a grand plan. Our hero is only focused on his service, so he looks at Reina and asks her what she would like to have. His charm knows no bounds as Reina almost instantly asks for the variety meal. Rakuto tells Reina that she will get all the flags as well as the Pikachu toy, but she says that she's only here for a meal and nothing else. She tries to stress on the fact that she doesn't want a toy made by her lover boy, but all of this was just a show because she happily takes the toy with her. It looks like the perfect plan has been executed, but of course there has to be some kind of issue, and we see it in the form of some rowdy men led by a bald leader. They storm into the maid cafe and ask why is it so popular when both the staff and the customers are beast people. This is all to create a ruckus, but Rakuto has seen such situations before, so he tells the girls to step aside and let him do the talking. He walks up to the gang and asks them how he can help them. These men are not polite at all, and the bald leader says that his nose was attacked by the smell of beasts in this cafe. He actually dares to demand some kind of payment as compensation for it, but Rakuto isn't one to get scared by such methods. As a matter of fact, he simply mocks the bald leader and knocks out all his goons with a simple punch. This shocks the bald leader and he wonders how Rakuto was able to do something like that. Our hero simply tells him that he's a butler here and was actually being gentle with the men. He then goes on to say that he is only using persuasion physics, but we all know that it's simple violence that he's resorting to. Rakuto tells the bald leader to take his trash and go away, but the fool tries to threaten our hero with his rank. He reveals his name to be Kosa's from Rindisu and says that Rakuto should not lay his hands on him. However, our hero doesn't care about silly status names and shows his scary side to Kosa's, but that the bald coward takes his men and runs away as fast as he can, thus ending the silly disruption they had caused to the maid cafe. Now that the nuisance has been dealt with, Rakuto apologizes to the patrons of the cafe and is greeted with loud applause. However, the danger is far from over as Tiana asks about Kosa's claiming to be from Rindisu. Rakuto confirms that he did say this and it makes Tiana uneasy, because these goons are known to extort money by robbing ships. Our hero asks for their threat level and learns that their toughest fighter is at best a mid-B rank, so there isn't much to worry about. However, with the timing, it does look like this is the work of a jealous Camille. There's no time to waste, so Rakuto decides to go greet the Rindisu army by himself. Tiana thinks it's a bad idea, but our hero knows that Koso will show up with more of his bald friends, so it's better to just be done with it. He even jokes that all of this is happening because the maid cafe is making good money. The girls are pleased to see their lover boy in high spirits, but Rakuto asks Natsumi to go inside the cafe and rest. She says that she just took a break, but our hero tells her that he has to take care of Koso and his goons. Natsumi will just be in his way if she's out here, so she has to go back inside. Of course, she thinks that her master is being mean, but Rakuto states that he's only speaking the truth out of concern for his harem girls. Meanwhile, we see the Rindisu group in one of their ships, and Koso seems to have explained everything that happened at the maid cafe to his boss. She is interested in Rakuto because he sounds like a worthy opponent, but at the same time, she has to get the job done because she has been paid to do so. With that, she summons her sea dragon named Sildra and tells him that they need to sink their opponents. The beast listens to his mistress and carries her all the way from the ship to the maid cafe. She drops down from the dragon and presents herself as a cute girl. Rakuto can't help but stare at her as she tries to talk high and mighty with him. She thinks that our hero is too scared to talk to her right now, but he simply says that he was busy looking at her body. As expected, this makes the pirate girl upset and she calls Rakuto a whole bunch of names for his shady words. He clearly doesn't care for any of that and they get down to business regarding the thrashing he handed out to Koso and his men. The pirate girl tries to mock Rakuto by asking if he's going to cry, and openly says that he can't challenge the wind and the rain. Our hero only wants to get to the point, so the pirate girl summons a mercurial ray storm to begin her attack. The pirate girl believes that she has the upper hand due to the attack and asks Rakuto if he's ready to surrender now. Of course, she has no idea who she's dealing with, and our hero gives her a brief taste of his powers by punching her through the tornado with ease. This is more than enough to knock out the pirate girl, and she surrenders almost instantly after such a quick defeat, realizing that she shouldn't be messing around. The pirate girl bows down to Rakuto and begs him to forgive her. She promises not to do something like this ever again, but Rakuto continues to mock her. Especially after all the brave words she was saying earlier, the pirate girl clearly regrets her actions. So our hero asks her who had given the order to attack the maid cafe. The pirate girl can't give the name of her client due to credit issues, but this proves to Rakuto that it was indeed someone else who wanted to attack Tiana's store. The pirate girl realizes that she messed up, so she tries to cover up for it, but Rakuto asks how he should punish her. His intrusive thoughts get the better of him once again, so he asks the pirate girl to show her pirate body. This makes her a little uneasy, but Rakuto says that he can think of many other ways to punish her. With that, the pirate girl quietly does as he says, and Rakuto gets a nice look at the goods. She just wants to be let off the hook as soon as possible, so our hero proceeds to ask her for her money before she can go back home. She is shocked to see how shameless Rakuto can be, but he says that she can choose to pay with her body if she doesn't have the money. The pirate girl decides to pay up with cash, and this interests Rakuto. He learns that she has never done such a thing before in her life, so he asks if she is looking for a boyfriend. The pirate girl says that she likes people who are stronger than her and have masculine hands. But Natsumi comes to the scene and announces that Rakuto is exactly like that. The pirate girl says that she wants a man who is kind and not shady like Rakuto, but Natsumi says that her lover boy is only strict when he is around other people. She maintains that Rakuto is very kind and gentle when he is alone with his harem girls. Our hero proceeds to pat the pirate girl's head and it makes her blush, but she just runs away from the scene because she is too shy to do unspeakable things with Rakuto. The coast is clear for now, but Rakuto is upset with Natsumi because she got herself into danger by stepping out of the maid cafe. She says that she only wanted to surprise her lover boy, but she does admit that she went against his orders. Our hero asks Natsumi to lend him her ear, so she thinks that he's asking for an apology. In a hilarious display, Natsumi starts to remove her outfit because she thinks this is how Rakuto likes girls to say sorry to him. Of course, that's not the case here, and our hero makes it known to Natsumi that he isn't angry at her. She is glad to hear this, but then Rakuto asks her to bring him a whetstone. Natsumi wants to know why he's asking for such an item. And then Rakuto explains that he needs it to question Camille. It's obvious to him that the evil cat girl had organized the pirate attack, but he wants to have proof while he's questioning her. Tiana asks Rakuto and Natsumi to be careful as they set out for their latest mission. Natsumi thinks that what they're doing is wrong and illegal, but her lover boy thinks it's perfectly fine. The couple sneaks closely into the shop and Rakuto starts to pick the lock. He says that these actions can't be helped because there was no way Camille would be easy to catch during the day. As he opens the lock, Natsumi asks him what he will do if Camille somehow turns out to be innocent. He simply says that he will pull out another dojo like last time, and it makes Natsumi anxious. However, our hero maintains that you need to sort things out by talking in person because that is the way of the world. It doesn't take long for Rakuto to open the door, and then he takes Natsumi inside with him. The couple looks around and they find Camille's room with a huge label on it, so Rakuto kicks it open in an instant. As expected, Camille is surprised to see this home invasion, and we also see Tiana, who is feeling very anxious about the whole thing. Rakuto says that he's here to talk to her, but Camille just scolds him for kicking down her door. Our hero gets straight to the point and mentions the pirates who had come to the maid cafe earlier today. He says that they told him it was Camille who gave them the order, and we can see the evil cat girl getting a little nervous about it. She acts innocent and says that she doesn't even know those people. As a matter of fact, she has no memory of talking to them in the first place. Rakuto can't let it end here, so he keeps pushing and mentions the name Rindesu. Even then, Camille says that she doesn't know them, so Rakuto tries to unsettle her by asking why the pirates would feed him such a lie. Camille turns on her villain mode again and says that the pirates might have been jealous of her because of her success. She even mocks Rakuto by saying the pirates tricked him into attacking her due to this jealousy, and he fell for it. Rakuto thinks her statements are a bit too silly, but Camille says that if Rakuto were to attack her right now, there's no way to prove that the pirates made the whole thing happen. She pushes her luck a bit too much by calling Rakuto a fool and asking him to use his head. But this is where things get interesting. Rakuto pulls out the whetstone and asks Camille to touch it with her fingers. She wants to know what it is, but our hero simply asks her to humor him, so she touches the whetstone. With the mission complete, Rakuto asks Natsumi to get the other things so that they can analyze the whetstone. Some visuals appear on the stone, so Camille asks what this means. Our hero asks her if she knows how to see fingerprints, so she says that it has something to do with chemicals. Rakuto tells her she's wrong and goes on to explain that it can be done just by using some kind of powder. He has this powder with him right now, so he uses it on the whetstone and shows Camille her own fingerprints. That's not all though, as he also brings out the coins that the pirate girl had given him earlier. As suspected, these coins were the same payment that was given to her by Camille, as can be seen by the fingerprints on them. This easily proves that Camille was the culprit all along, so Rakuto mocks her by asking how her fingerprints are on the same coins that were given to the pirates as a payment. She tries to shake it off by saying it's only a coincidence, but Rakuto says that the prints are not just on one coin, but on quite a few of them. Natsumi is pleased to see this, because it means that her lover boy didn't take the money from the pirate girl out of greed. However, our hero says that he would have taken the coins either way, so she asks him to say something nice for once. Camille has been humiliated and insulted by this, so there's no other way to go. She admits that she was the one who had paid the pirates to attack the maid cafe. She even tries to justify her actions by saying adventurers do whatever they want just because they have the power to do so. If that is the case, then even she should be allowed to use her money to play with other people. Her words anger Rakuto, so he raises his hand as he approaches her. Camille is ready for her punishment, but it's not what she thinks it to be. Our hero grabs her body and places her on his lap so that he can give her a good spanking. What follows is a hilarious session which even Natsumi finds to be a bit over the top. Rakuto tells Camille that she should have never done such a horrible thing if she didn't want to get spanked. But she says that he doesn't know how she feels. Her words interest Rakuto, so he asks Camille if she wants to talk about it. This is when Camille reveals that she used to be bullied back when she was a child. The funny thing about this is that she was a boy in her previous life and she was bullied back then. She was crossing the road one day when a truck hit her, and she reincarnated into this world as a cat girl. This explains how Camille ended up the way she is right now. Rakuto offers her some comfort and says that it's no right to bully people who had nothing to do with what had happened to her. Camille says that's a lot easier said than done, because the bullies still come to her in her dreams and trouble her there. Our hero gives her some more comfort and says that he used to be beaten by his parents too when he was a child, and it still bothers him today. However, this does not mean that he can go around hurting other people because it's not the right thing to do. His words finally have an impact on Camille, who is now ready to be a better person. With that, Rakuto decides to take her to Tana's shop so that they can all make up. Tana is surprised to see Rakuto entering with Camille by his side. And it gets even more interesting when he asks her to cook something for the cat girl. Rakuto says that Camille wants to eat a meal that has been made only by Tana, so she wonders what's going on here. The choice of dish is up to Tana to decide. And it can be the worst possible meal, but Camille has to eat it. Tana realizes that this is the punishment being given to Camille. And then we see an egg being sent to the kitchen. Both Natsumi and Camille are scared to see it, so when Rakuto asks them what's going on, they explain that it's a wyvern egg. Some intense philosophy is spoken in the middle of the cooking session, but Tana manages to make a meal out of it and presents the egg to Camille. The dish actually looks nice and has a pleasant smell as well. Camille has to eat this, and she brings out a memory where she had to eat ramen out of a shoe before, so it should be fine for her. However, Rakuto seems shocked that she had to bring up such a useless memory right before eating a wyvern egg. To ease the pressure, Rakuto offers to have half of the egg, and even Natsumi joins in. Camille is shocked that our hero is willing to eat the egg by himself, but he simply says that it would be unfair to let the present version of her eat it by herself. Now, all three of them take a bite of the egg, and to their surprise, it's actually quite tasty. Tana explains that the egg will always taste bad if you try to cook it normally, but if you use the spices the right way, then it can be a good meal. Adventurers are anyway supposed to eat whatever they can get, but Camille is not able to withstand so much kindness. She asks the others why they're being so nice to her, especially after the way she has behaved with them. Tana explains that she only wanted to scare her with the egg, but now that Camille isn't going to be evil anymore, then there's no reason for her to get angry. The cat girl feels so guilty that she openly apologizes to everyone in the room. Our hero figures that this is a much better way of teaching a lesson than punishing Camille, so everyone is glad with the outcome. After this happy ending, things are back to normal at the maid cafe. But the harem girls are still unhappy with the way their lover boy is dedicating one day to each of them. As a matter of fact, Mia misses holding Rakuto so much that she grabs Natsumi's arm just to feel a little better. Even Ria doesn't like this, so Saruka comes to her aid, but as expected, she gets smashed to the floor once again. This prompts Reina to ask her to tone down her behavior because it scares Ria. However, Saruka likes to see Ria frightened, which just goes on to raise more doubts about her capabilities as a bodyguard. What's next in store for our hero? Is he going to get with Camille as well? Like, share, and subscribe if you liked this video. Hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload part 3. See you soon. Now that everything has been set for our hero Rakuto, he takes a look at Camille, who has dressed up as a cute maid girl as well. She welcomes her new master, and is called cute by everyone, so it makes her feel really shy. Camille reminds them that she is only doing this to make up for all her sins towards Tana. She does not want Rakuto or anyone else to get the wrong idea, because she does not want to admit that she loved his yummy cooking. However, it is also revealed in a letter from Tana that Camille has gone around apologizing to everyone whose shops she had crashed. As a matter of fact, she has also handed over her store to someone else and retired now. From the looks of it, Camille has wanted to meet Rakuto, and even though she tries to counter that notion, all the girls say that she has a thing for him. Of course, this is really embarrassing for Camille, but she has no other choice other than revealing her true intentions now. She says that she hates our hero, but the reason for it is that he is a man, and not anything else. Reina wants to know if this is really a problem for Camille, and she says yes it is, although it does seem wrong to hate someone for being male. Rakuto worries that Camille will turn into a shameless feminist, so he grabs her arm and tells the other girls to leave them alone for now. The new maid girl is a bit worried, but she does not know that our hero has the kind of riz that everyone aspires to possess. He proceeds to ask her if she has ever been in a relationship before, and as expected, she says no. Of course, a lot of this has to do with the fact that Camille used to be a boy in her past life. She feels like she is supposed to like girls based on that, but she is not sure of anything anymore. She even likes this cute dress that she has been given, but she does not want to be too much of a girl. However, she has gotten used to this new female body and does not qualify as a man any longer. Even so, Camille is of the opinion that a small part of her is still a man. And this makes Rakuto worry, because he does not want that one particular part to be an elephant. Of course, our hero quickly realizes that Camille's problem is actually a mental one rather than a physical one. He decides to give her a quick kiss to settle her down, and it makes her blush a lot. Rakuto does not have a problem with this, because he has only known Camille as a biological girl, so it does not matter if she thinks like a half-man. She asks him why he did this because it was her first kiss ever. Rakuto just wanted to know if she liked it, and from the look on her face, she clearly enjoyed it. Of course, our hero also wanted to see her make a shady face filled with blushes, and this makes Camille lament Rakuto's own intrusive thoughts. He then calls her cute, and she calls him a good guy. With that, Camille and Rakuto get down to business and act out their shady desires. After an intense session with each other, Rakuto asks Camille if she liked what she got, and she says yes. She is still conflicted over wanting to be strong to defend herself, while also wanting to get pounded by our hero. Rakuto likes to provide full clarity, so he proceeds with round 2. After yet another intense session, it is safe to say that Camille has now become another member of Rakuto's massive harem of cute girls. After all of this is over with, we see Natsumi, Mia, and Ria all looking wishfully at Rakuto's door, because they wanted to be in Camille's place last night. Now, Natsumi declares that she wants to become Rakuto's full-time slave girl, and that's when Orly shows up and comments on how energetic she is this morning. She has come to meet the girls for the first time since the Queen Ant incident, and she says that Reina had asked her to visit. Rakuto comes out and wants to know why Reina has summoned Orly, so she takes out a recording crystal which operates on mana. Then, she shows a recording of Reina who is in bed and hugging her pillow out of desperation. She seems to be missing Rakuto a lot, and says that she is getting overwhelmed by loneliness whenever he is not around her. As she continues to speak embarrassing things from her mouth, Orly shows up and tells her that she will be able to meet her lover boy soon. Naturally, Reina panics because she did not expect someone else to be spying on her like this. She wants to know since when Orly was watching her, so she states that she was here right from the beginning. Orly even promises Reina that she will not show this clip to Rakuto, but that seems to have been a big fat lie. Orly admits that she has made a mistake, but she does not seem to regret it. Orly also reveals that Reina has become extremely lovable ever since she got with Rakuto, so she would like to know exactly what he did to her. Of course, such things cannot be spoken of in public, so Mia distracts Orly by telling her that even Natsumi has become thrice as cute ever since she got with our hero. Orly is interested in the curvy Mia, so she asks for her name and origin. Mia reveals that she hails from the Ribaru village, and this makes Orly remember her own past. She tells us that Ribaru was destroyed by a demon raid, and the only reason she survived was because of her parents. Now, both the girls ask each other if they want to do a ritual for survivors, and they say yes. Suddenly, Orly bites her own finger, and then gives it to Mia, who sucks on it. Basically, she is drinking her blood, and Orly tells her to have some more because people from her village need to complete the ritual properly. It turns out that the ritual is actually a process to turn Mia into a succubus girl with wings and a tail, just like Orly. Once her body changes, Rakuto is the most surprised to see Mia in this form because it appeals to him. Mia reminds her master that she has been a succubus girl this whole time, so it should not raise any alarms. Now that she has this new curvy body, she can switch between both her forms by manipulating her blood. Rakuto finds it impressive, but at the same time complains that Mia's explanation is too short. Of course, she says that even though her appearance has changed, it doesn't change the fact that she loves our hero. What she does not realize is that Rakuto has let his intrusive thoughts tail over, and he presses her succubus tail. This seems to do all kinds of things to Mia, and she asks her master to stop before she loses control. Rakuto can't stop, won't stop, so Orly has to bring everyone's attention back to the topic at hand. She activates the recording crystal once again, and we can see Reina inside it. She reveals that she is in the academic section of the region, which is the Valued Scholar Academy. This school aims to educate intelligent kids regardless of their parents. The school also manages a dungeon known as the Dimensional Labyrinth. The funding for this place comes from the items of this dungeon, which the authorities sell. Reina reveals that she is doing an investigation of this labyrinth and is doing okay, even though she is lonely without her lover boy. However, she has encountered a rather dangerous monster, which is why she needs Rakuto's help. Of course, Reina feels that our hero may take this as an excuse for her to call him in, but she maintains that the situation is actually very serious, and he is genuinely needed for it. Reina hilariously continues to defend herself by stating she is not a shady girl. But Rakuto only thinks about this new monster, which could prove to be a challenge for him. He decides to ask the other girls if they are fine with visiting the academy, and as expected, they say yes to him. Now, our hero and his cute girl harem reach the Valued Scholar Academy and gaze upon it. The girls seem to be very impressed by it after only seeing the outside of the academy. A massive bridge stands in front of them, so they have to cross it to enter the place. However, we learn that the bridge actually leads to the dungeon, which is being managed by the school. The walls that had impressed the girls were actually made to defend against the monsters that live inside the dungeon. Rakuto has identified this already, so Orly decides to lead the group to the main town area. As the team explores the place, we see Ria checking out a fountain which has some fishes inside it. Rakuto asks her if she is interested in staying here because he and the others can go to see Reina while Ria waits by the fountain. Of course, Ria would never want that, so she holds on to our hero while making a cute face. Rakuto also hugs her, but then he hears someone making a cute sound from behind. It's none other than Reina, who is spying on her lover boy, so Rakuto calls her out for her shady behavior. She tries to play it down and says that she didn't really feel that lonely without him, but we all know she is addicted to him. Reina continues to put up an act, but Rakuto can't deny what he had seen earlier in the recording crystal. As a matter of fact, that very same crystal drops to the floor, and it plays the exact section where Reina is crying like a little baby for her lover boy. This is highly embarrassing for Reina, and then Rakuto tells her that she should not lie about such things. With this, Orly flies up in the air and says that she will be heading over to the next town. Her job is anyway to go around other towns to check their security and see if there are any problems with them. Reina is just upset that Orly did not keep her promise, and then she says it's time to begin the enrollment procedure for everyone. Sure, Rakuto and his harem have come here to do an investigation, but they still need to be enrolled into the academy. This means that they will need to test out their abilities, and for that, they visit the principal of the academy. In the office, we see a couple of cute and curvy cat girls, out of which one of them says it's been a while since they last met. Rakuto savagely asks her who she is, and this makes her upset. Our hero tries to recall her, but only a shady memory pops up in his mind, and it leads to a bit of back and forth between him and the girl, whose name is Cecilia Ferguson. She is the assistant and Oni-sama of the other cat girl, Alicia Ferguson, who runs this school with her. What new adventures lie ahead for our hero? Are these cat girls also going to join his harem? Like, share, and subscribe if you like this video and want me to continue the story. Show some love, and I'll upload the next part as soon as possible.
Our hero Rakuto has built quite the name for himself with his powers and his harem, and we are picking up from when he and his girls get introduced to Cecilia and Alicia Ferguson. Our hero can't believe that Alicia is so fond of Cecilia that she refers to her as Oni-sama, but she states that she loves her so much that she would probably lose her mind if she did not see her for a month. Cecilia goes on to explain all the noble things that exist in this academy, such as the corridor, window, and terrace. However, Rakuto does not have any interest in the beauty of the campus, so he pulls her hair to give everyone a glimpse of his freak. Rakuto only wants to know what procedures are needed for him to freely roam around the campus. Cecilia is surprised by this behavior, but then our hero pulls her cheeks to let her know he means business. Cecilia goes crying to her sister about Rakuto, but the others tell her not to be a wuss. Now, we are told that Romina is busy with her appraiser course and its exams, which is why she is currently separate from everyone else. We then move back to Rakuto, who has made his way inside an assessment room where he is told that his abilities are going to be measured. He wants to know how this is going to happen, so Cecilia shows him a physical device that displays stats. She gives an example by showing off her own stats, which are quite impressive. As a matter of fact, her overall rank is A, which is really good for an adventurer. She goes on to explain that the lowest rank is F, the G rank is essentially a normal man, the D and E ranks are somewhat respectable, and you start getting respect from C rank onwards. Of course, A ranks are supposed to be the best, and Cecilia takes this chance to boast her own status as well. Once again, Rakuto does not care about such matters, so he asks Reina the difference between endurance and resistance. She states that endurance is defense against physical attacks while resistance is defense against magical attacks. Reina goes on to show her own rank, which is A, but the most important thing is that her magical power is not measurable. Basically, if your stat goes higher than 999, then it will be shown as not measurable. The other harem girls also give it a shot, and as expected, they get a respectable C rank, which is not too bad. However, everyone likes to act cool until the main character walks in, so Rakuto stuns everyone with his stats. Pretty much all of his skills are not measurable apart from his magical power, which is at C rank. The girls go crazy upon this revelation because up until now, they had only seen immeasurable stats in magical power. To see something like this in Rakuto is truly a Giga Chad moment for him. However, Cecilia is clearly jealous of our hero, and she says that it does not matter how good the stats may look like, because none of that counts when you're in the middle of battle. She does not want Rakuto to get carried away by this revelation, but he simply pulls her cheeks again to remind us that Cecilia can be cute as well. It's time to measure Natsumi now, but she is shocked to see that her stats are even lower at rank D. Mia decides to cheer her up by saying the stats do not matter as much as the training does. After all, Natsumi can always become better by improving her sword skills and other physical traits. Now, it's time for Mia to take a look at her stats, and they come in at a respectable C rank. As expected, Natsumi is jealous of Mia and asks her when she got so strong. Mia herself is not too sure of this, and she states that it could probably have something to do with her turning into a succubus girl. What's more shocking is that the little ant girl Ria gets stats good enough to place her at rank A, which totally messes with Natsumi's confidence. As a matter of fact, Rakuto himself did not expect Ria to gain such impressive stats even though he is aware of the Ant Queen's influence on her. It's time to move on to the next stage, where we see an old man greeting Cecilia with fondness. He asks her why she is here, so she explains that she wants to test everyone's combat abilities. The old man gets what she means, so he summons a magical barrier which will prevent any kind of lethal injuries. This means that everyone have a go without worrying about causing serious damage. The old man asks Rakuto if he has any weapons on him, but he says that he prefers to fight with his bare hands. The old man comments that our hero must have received high stat values, and he fears that he must be an overconfident young man. Of course, the old man is here to keep such people grounded, so he decides to deal with Rakuto later. He focuses on Natsumi for her assessment, but this could also be because his intrusive thoughts have taken over after checking out her curvy body. He defeats Natsumi with ease during their sparring session, and even she gives up rather easily. Next up is the bunny girl, who also tries her best against the old man, but it is of no use as she gets bested with ease. The old man seems to be toying with the girls, as when Mia launches her magic missiles on him, the only compliment he provides is that she has some magical ability. He decides to show her how the big boys play by launching his own spell on her, and this is enough to beat down Mia. Rakuto rushes to his slave girl to see if she is all right, and she explains that her head hurts a little. Since our hero is a man of culture, it is only natural for him to treat a headache by pressing on Mia's soft pillows. She gets into the mood, and even Rakuto has now lost himself in his intrusive thoughts, so no one can stop them now. The duo engages in some shady activities, so Natsumi has to call them out on what they are doing. She grabs Mia and tells her to think about the time and place for such acts, but she needs to remember that Mia is a succubus girl, so this is rooted into her blood. Anyway, it's time to move on to the battle between the old man and Ria, which should be interesting due to Ria already being a rank. However, all it takes is one punch from the ant girl to send the old man flying away. Cecilia can't believe what she is seeing, and the old man has to be rushed to the infirmary immediately. It does not look like he is going to wake up until the next day, so Rakuto laments he has nothing to do now. Suddenly, a cute girl pops up from behind and asks if she can perform the test. She reveals her name to be Akemi Yuki, which is a hardcore Japanese name. This makes Rakuto wonder if she too has been reincarnated into this world. Yuki states that she has been at the academy ever since she was picked up from an orphanage. Now, Yuki asks Cecilia if she can replace the old man because she is actually more powerful than him. Cecilia states that using Yuki to test Rakuto would actually put him at a disadvantage. However, the thought of our hero getting a black eye makes her very happy, so Cecilia allows Yuki to become the replacement. Of course, she also gets a bruise from the harem girls because of her ill wishes towards their master. It's time to kick off the battle, and Cecilia cheers for Yuki to beat Rakuto into little pieces. Yuki asks our hero to begin because if she launches the first move, then there is a chance that his ability may not get displayed. On that note, Rakuto decides to give Yuki a glimpse of his strength by breaking the arena with one blow. He then launches into an attack straight at her, which should be more than enough to knock her out. However, Yuki uses her own ability, and then we are back to the battle before Rakuto had launched his first attack. She asks our hero the same thing that she did earlier, so he obliges once again and attacks the floor. This time, since she saw it the last time, Yuki launches herself into the air and strikes Rakuto with her finisher move. Of course, our hero is ready for anything, so he also lands a blow on his opponent, but then they are brought back to the battle before it began. However, Rakuto has an injury on his arm, which he had sustained from Yuki's finisher move. She comments that she has understood how this is going to play out. We learn that she has the skill known as the Mobius fingerprint, which allows her to reset battles as many times as she wants. She explains to Rakuto that she can reset the damage done to her body, thus healing all her injuries, but her opponents will always retain their damage. Rakuto can't believe what she has just told him because even memories are wiped out during the reset. This time though, since our hero has an injury, he realizes that it is from the previous round. Yuki tells him he's right, but she has somewhat figured out the outcome of this match, so she decides to end it with her own finisher move. Having the reset power is essentially a god-level cheat code, but Yuki does not care about it and walks away, imagining she has won this round. Her bubble gets burst quickly enough as Rakuto emerges from the shadows and charges at her. He figures that if he is going to get reset again, then he might as well put in all his strength. Our hero manages to grab Yuki, but she is able to reset at the very last moment to spare herself of any damage. Rakuto can still stand and fight, but Cecilia ends it before our hero actually decides to get serious. Yuki, on the other hand, is extremely emotional right now because she just managed to escape a very close call, which is something she is not used to. Rakuto is perplexed to see her like this, but he allows her to calm down before listening to her story about her power and her past. Yuki had the same name back when she was in Japan, but she had a serious illness which forced her into the hospital regularly. It was so bad that she met her end a day before her 16th birthday. This made the goddess pity her a lot, which is why she gave Yuki such a powerful cheat skill to compensate for her previous life. Apparently, Yuki was also instructed to enroll into the academy and search the dungeon. That's enough of a backstory for now, so Cecilia decides to hand out everyone's ranks to them. It comes as no surprise that Rakuto gets an A rank, and that's probably because S rank does not exist in this universe. Even Ria has the same rank, so she blushes and tells her master that they are a match. Naturally, this makes Reina jealous, so she tells our hero that even the both of them are a match as she too is a rank. Rakuto decides to make Reina happy by agreeing to what she says while also petting her on the head. Suddenly Romina shows up and reveals that she has received a C rank card, although the card design matches Rakuto's. She reveals that she was taking the appraiser exam on weapons and herbs while the warrior exam was going on, and she received the highest score from the past 3 years. Naturally, Romina wants to be praised for this impressive feat, and Rakuto obliges by petting her on the head as well. Our hero is a bit confused though, because if Romina topped the scores, then it does not make sense for her to have a C rank. Cecilia explains that Arthur Ferguson, the man who accomplished this academy, wanted to focus solely on warriors, which is why they are treated differently when compared to appraisers. The other girls take a look at their cards to confirm that all of them are C rank, but in the case of Natsumi, it's a hilarious reveal of D rank, which might be due to the fact that she was the first one to experience Rakuto's D. Having said that, she is still jealous of Ria, who managed to flirt with her master over their shared ranks. Now that the rankings are done, it's time to go to the student dorms. Rakuto is given room number 710, which is a nice and spacious place for him. He sits down and thinks of relaxing, but then he hears some knocking on the door. He asks who it is, and it happens to be his little ant girl Ria. Rakuto opens the door and asks her if she has come to play with him, which makes her really happy and excited. Ria sits on the bed while her master gets ready, and then he offers her a drink. Ria takes a look at the bottle for a bit, and then she pops open the cork. It hilariously hits her in the head after deflecting off the ceiling, which makes Ria's reaction very cute. Now, the ant girl takes a sip of the booze, and it clearly seems to be doing something to her. Rakuto asks Ria if she likes it, so she looks at him with shady eyes and grabs his arm. The ant girl is done being a kid and wants to become a woman, so she gives a signal to Rakuto. What follows is a series of shady activities, and in the middle of this, Rakuto learns that Ria is a honey girl and not a milk girl. This drives our hero crazy, so he unleashes the hawk to a 9,000 tongue twister on Ria. After the ant girl has the experience of a lifetime, somebody else comes to the door, so Rakuto checks on who it might be. He notices that it's Reina, so he opens the door for her, but she is shocked to see her master without his shirt on. She asks what is the meaning of this, so he explains that he and Reina were simply acting on their intrusive thoughts. Rakuto can see that Reina is upset, so he decides to unleash his elephant on her as well. She states that he is simply using her as his toy, but she loves it, so our hero continues to do unspeakable things to her. Now that both Reina and Ria are done with round 1, it's time to have a triple Sunday delight, so before he begins, he asks Ria if she is scared of his elephant, because she can ask him to stop. However, the ant girl says that she is looking forward to this and wants her ant nest to be demolished. On that note, Rakuto's inner beast takes over and he ravages his slave girls. Ria gets yet another explosive climax, but she wants more like a greedy girl, so Rakuto obliges, although at this rate, he is no different from Drake. After what feels like an endless night of pleasure, our hero finally gets to relax with Reina and Ria, both of whom are extremely drained of their kitty water. Now, the both of them get ready to step out of the dorm because they are here on a mission after all. As the triple couple steps out of their room, Yuki shows up and is visibly shocked to see what's going on. She says that she has come here to guide Rakuto to the cafeteria, but did not expect to see Reina and Ria in the same room as him. Our hero simply replies that he has this kind of relationship with all his slave girls, so Yuki gets a massive culture shock. She looks at Rakuto with his girls and thinks they not like us, which leads her to call our hero a PDF file for engaging with such innocent girls. Ria simply holds onto her master's arm while Reina gets offended over being called little. She continues to say that she is not little or small, but ends up looking like a cute little doll in the process. Seeing this, Yuki offers her some candy, so Reina has to tell her once again not to treat her as a child. After this drama, the group heads towards the cafeteria and Rakuto thinks about how nice it would be to dine with Natsumi right now. However, Cecilia shows up and tells him that such a thing is not allowed over here because ranks are obliged to sit at a particular table. These special seats act as a tool to reinforce the fact that rank adventurers are higher than everyone else, and Cecilia seems to get off on the rush of power she feels through this allotment. She reiterates that this place's purpose is to let people in high positions truly feel the difference, but Rakuto just sits at the table because he does not want to break the rules. Yuki also sits with the group and comments that it's a little embarrassing for her to do this, but also rejoices that she can get to eat with Reina. The food gets served to everyone, and Cecilia says a short prayer thanking the cooking staff for their meals. After that, she tells everyone that she is going to sing something which they all must listen to while eating their food. Naturally, this causes Rakuto to worry for a bit, but he is pleasantly surprised when he notices how nice Cecilia's voice is. The vibe changes when Cecilia starts to sing about how amazing she is, so our hero decides to smack her on the head because he has no interest in hearing a narcissist sing about herself. She asks him why he's being mean to her, so he says that it does not make sense for someone to praise themselves while they are supposed to be entertaining other people. Cecilia argues that Rakuto should listen to the end of her performance because it is supposed to have a beautiful passage in it. However, it only turns out to be more selfish praise, so the cat girl gets another smack to the head. After the group is done with their meal, it's time to go to the dungeon, and Cecilia is excited to be leading all of them. Rank students are supposed to be exempt from classes, so attendance is not an issue, but Rakuto pulls Cecilia's cheeks again and asks who in their right mind would want her to be their leader. Yuki and the other girls don't seem to have a problem with it, so Cecilia tells our hero that she has the ability to command trust. Rakuto is shocked and aghast upon seeing this, and he keeps telling himself that he is witnessing a lie, but Cecilia asks him why he is acting so despondent as if he has just lost his entire family. Seeing her master in such a state prompts Reina to say that Cecilia might act as the leader, but she will be the one to lead the way. Basically, Reina will decide the route, the battle strategies, and even withdrawal from any difficult fights. This is essentially the leader's role, as rightfully guessed by Rakuto, so he asks Cecilia what she is going to do. The cat girl explains that she will stand at the front and act as the party's sword and shield. This is a bit confusing to our hero, so Reina clarifies that the principal had said this to Cecilia, and she had blindly believed it. Rakuto figures that Cecilia is indeed the dumb blonde of their group, so he patronizes her by saying she is indeed the rightful leader of this group. The cat girl gets happy and she smiles at Rakuto, thanking him for finally understanding her skills. Our hero finds this expression of hers to be extremely cute, so he pulls her cheeks once again, but out of affection. Of course, Cecilia does not know this, so she asks what she did wrong and Rakuto simply apologizes for not realizing his intrusive thoughts. Now that everyone's roles are clear, Reina leads the way and tells the group it's go time. On this note, they all enter the school's dungeon, which is also known as the Dimensional Labyrinth. As soon as they enter the dungeon, our hero looks back and notices that the gate has vanished. He turns to Reina for clarity, but she says that such things are normal in places like this labyrinth. Yuki further explains that if they are to leave, then they will need to touch the white doorway, which is located at the end of each level. It's either that or the team will have to use teleportation crystals, which most of the monsters drop anyway. Suddenly, a whole bunch of insect monsters show up and charge at the team. Cecilia is pumped to see them, so she prepares to launch an attack on the bug beasts. However, she needs time to chant her spell, which is a rather long one, so Reina simply loads her weapon and attacks the bugs before the cat girl. She gets the job done in a matter of seconds, and Cecilia is just left standing there looking gloomy. There is no time to droop her shoulders though, as the team must continue their mission. As they continue, Reina uses her sense of intuition to direct them in the right direction. Cecilia can smell something off, so she asks Reina what she is doing. She says that she is simply marking the walls with her scent for a better sense of the dungeon's layout, but Cecilia accuses her of using primal animal techniques of marking their territory. Reina finds this quite ridiculous because she has never done something so suspicious. Anyway, the decor of the dungeon changes because everyone has crossed it and moved on to the next level. As they move further ahead, they notice some weird insect monster standing in front of them, and it looks at the team with murderous intent. This beast is rare, so the team wonders what it really is. Reina seems to recognize it, but she only says that it's a rare bug monster which can wipe them all out if they are careless. She tries to shoot at it, but the bug beast attacks her, causing her to dodge. Yuki tries to get around the monster to save herself, and she tells everyone to stay away from it. One blow is all it takes for the monster to end them, so Cecilia's eyes light up. She feels it's finally her time to shine, but Rakuto is not going to take any half measures over here. One punch is all he needs to destroy the bug monster, prompting the girls to look at him the same way characters from One Punch Man look at Saitama. Ria rushes towards her master to see if his fist is okay, which he confirms after she takes a look at it. Relieved, Ria hugs Rakuto because she will be needing that fist later for other activities. It's time to keep going, but our hero notices that Cecilia has dropped to the floor and is feeling all kinds of emotions. He asks what's wrong with her, so she says that everyone else is doing all the work for her. Reina wants to know why the cat girl is throwing such a hissy fit, so Cecilia explains that she is bored already. In order to console her, Rakuto and Ria tells Cecilia that she can take on the next monster all by herself. After some time, a monster does appear, but it is as harmless as a level 1 oddish. Rakuto, Yuki, and Reina all comment that they can defeat this monster with one blow, but they would rather leave it to Cecilia in order to boost her confidence. They rally after the cat girl to finish the job, which she does, but all it takes is one lazy strike. Once again, Cecilia drops to the floor and comments on how all of this is just wrong. She wants more action, and this is enough to push Rakuto over the edge. He does not have time to deal with a cat girl, so he decides to give Cecilia a nice spanking to keep her quiet. After he is done punishing Cecilia, our hero tells the girls it's time to move forward, although Reina does comment that he does not show the cat girl any kind of mercy. It's night time now, and the team has managed to make it to an open area. Reina realizes that this is the boss room of the dungeon, and then the monster finally presents itself to the group. It is a massive spider that is sitting on its web, planning to make a meal out of everyone present. However, Reina comments that this is not even that tough of a monster, so they should be able to defeat it without any effort. As the team prepares to defeat the giant spider, a sword pops out from beneath and ends the monster in one strike. Reina is shocked to see that such a power has been able to make it to this level, so Rakuto asks her if she knows what this is. Basically, the dimensional labyrinth is supposed to be a collection of barely connected spaces, so it should not be possible for monsters from other levels to cross to another space. In this case, the team is witnessing an exception as this is a monster with the ability to transcend space. What they are up against is called a Dimension Walker, and it looks like a skeleton with a sword. The Dimension Walker looks at the team with malice in his eyes, but they all just wonder what this thing is doing over here. The Walker launches a sword attack right at them, but they are able to dodge it without getting hurt. As can be seen, this is a completely different breed of monster as his attack leaves a massive hole in the ground. Both Yuki and Reina decide to attack the beast with their fire powers, hoping it will be enough to take him down. Yuki unleashes her burning cluster while Reina lets out her Fang Dragon to blast into the Dimension Walker, but after a massive explosion, it does nothing to the monster. Yuki wonders what they should do now, but Reina realizes that the Walker is using a barrier to block magical attacks. Yuki says that if this is the case, then the monster should be vulnerable to physical attacks. Reina decides to test that theory by shooting at the Walker, but the bullets have no effect on him at all. The Walker has had enough of playing around, so he strikes both Yuki and Reina with his sword. He is able to send both the girls flying away, rendering them unable to fight for a bit. Cecilia decides to have a go at the Walker with Ria as backup, and she asks Rakuto to go check up on the other two girls while they keep the monster pinned down. Our hero immediately rushes to Yuki and Reina, asking them if they are fine. Yuki says that she can still fight, but Reina has suffered some pretty bad injuries, so she will not be of much use in the battle now. Rakuto asks Yuki if she can use her reset powers on Reina to heal her, but she says that the skill only applies to her own injuries. Rakuto does not like the look of this, so he suggests using a teleportation crystal before Reina get injured any further. He hands it over to her, and she apologizes for being useless in the fight. She gets teleported away to safety, after which Rakuto tells Ria and Cecilia that Rayan had to withdraw immediately. It's just the four of them now, but the Walker has other tricks up his sleeve as he unleashes multiple skulls upon our hero and his girls. Yuki gets in front and uses her incinerate power to burn all of them, but one of the skulls manages to break free and attacks Yuki. Before she is struck, Rakuto shows up and destroys the skull with his fist. She says sorry for not being strong enough for the battle, but our hero tells her it's fine because they are comrades now. Yuki begins to blush, and all types of intrusive thoughts begin to enter her mind, but the priority is to take down this massive walker. Rakuto says it is important to understand the weaknesses of the walker before taking down its defenses. Cecilia says that her noble self will get the job done, and she charges at the walker without a single thought. The walker tries to attack the cat girl, but she is able to dodge his strike and lands on top of it. Cecilia states that she will finish off the walker with one blow, and she swings her axe with full power. However, it does nothing to him, and this shocks Cecilia to her core. Not only does her axe get broken, she is sent flying away after a direct punch from the Dimension Walker. Cecilia also crashes into a wall and is not looking good at all. Rakuto rushes to her, but he can see that things are not going to work out for the girls if they continue at this rate. The cat girl laments that her axe is gone now, so she does not have much left to offer against the walker. Now, our hero comes to a realization, which is that Raian's assumption about the monster was incorrect. Instead of the barrier blocking magical attacks, maybe it is meant only to block large-scale attacks. Cecilia does not understand what he means by this, so he goes on to explain how Yuki's and Reina's attacks didn't hurt the walker because they were powerful moves. Reina's bullets may not have done any damage to the walker, but she still managed to hit him, which indicates that weaker attacks have a better chance against this opponent. So, if they are to defeat this beast, the only way to do so would be for Rakuto to get his hands dirty. Technically speaking, he should have been the first to attack, but that would ruin his heroic rescue right now. Cecilia does not know what is going to happen next, but Rakuto decides to jump right on top of the walker and land on his head. He tries to punch the monster with a strong attack, but the dimensional barrier activates, rendering it moot. Of course, this is not a problem for Rakuto, because he proceeds to touch the walker's skull and then he unleashes his power. He overcomes the barrier and breaks the walker's skull with a finisher move that is equally as impressive as it is effortless. With that, our hero hops off the Dimension Walker, who is now missing half of his head. The beast drops to the ground completely annihilated, and it disintegrates to reveal something rather useful. Cecilia is shocked to see what item the walker has dropped, because it is an emerald crystal. This item is a AA class item drop, which makes it among the rarest of the drops. Rakuto picks up the crystal and asks what they should do with this item. Usually, in such a case, the drop item's use is decided by the party, but that would be unfair to our hero since he has done all the work. Yuki says that only Rakuto has the right to decide how to use the emerald crystal, to which Cecilia and Ria agree instantly. Now that the dungeon has been completed, it's time to head back to the main campus. The team rushes to the medical facility over there where Reina is healing from her injuries. Reina asks the team if they were able to beat the walker, and they say of course they did. Reina is not too surprised by this because Rakuto was on their team after all. Yuki will be continuing her investigation of the labyrinth and Cecilia will be reporting to the academy regarding what has happened. Even so, Reina looks like she's in a lot of pain, so our hero asks her if she is fine. Reina says that it's no big deal, but Rakuto knows that she has to be joking. After all, 3 of her bones have been broken and even her elbow has been bent in the wrong direction. This is supposed to be an extremely serious injury, but Reina says that such is the way of life. Combat is generally tough, and since she is resting now, there is no difference between her current injury and a scratch. This is still odd to Rakuto, but he is glad as long as his slave girl is okay. Reina says that she will always be okay as long as she is by her master's side, and it makes our hero blush. Now, the nurse shows up and says that it's time to wipe Reina's body, so it would be great if Rakuto could leave the room. However, Reina says no to this suggestion because Rakuto is her lover boy. As a matter of fact, she would prefer it if he washed her body instead of the nurse. This is all it takes for our hero to get up and activate his Sigma male persona. He takes the water from the nurse and then instantly gets to work on Reina, somewhat surprising her. She did not expect her master to do this, but our hero says that he is a man of culture. So, if Reina has said that she wants Rakuto to clean her, he will definitely do it. The slave girl says that she had only said this so that he would not leave her alone, and she would just wash herself. However, Rakuto says that no man will hold back if he gets a look at that flat table of hers. Of course, he is just being nice to her, because such a compliment borders on Drake behavior. Rakuto can't control his intrusive thoughts any longer, so he transforms into the diddler of the manga world. He goes on to wash and wipe Reina. What follows is an extremely shady sequence of events, and before Rakuto uses his tongue twister 9000, he asks Reina why there is so much moisture around her kitty. She asks if it's sweat, but we all know that's not the case. Of course, Rakuto says that if this liquid is indeed sweat, then he will need to wipe it. After an explosion of intrusive thoughts, Reina takes a breather, but our hero is not done just yet. His elephant comes out to play, so Reina asks if he really wants to do this in the wardroom. Rakuto simply says that if Reina wants her to stop, then he will obviously not carry on, but this makes Reina conscious. She does not tell her master to stop, so he carries on with his shady acts. After tons of actions that cannot be described over here, Reina is completely drained and satisfied, leaving her unable to move. Rakuto tries to comfort her, but she calls him a bonehead because of his insatiable love for boning. Our hero apologizes for not having a hold of his intrusive thoughts, and then he hugs Reina to make her feel better. At this moment, Ria shows up and tugs at our hero's sleeve, indicating that even she wants to be treated to his elephant. Rakuto is a real gentleman, so he cannot let down her request at any cost. He goes on to engage with Ria as well, but Reina is about to leave the room, so he asks her a quick question. Since he was called her to deal with the Dimension Walker, our hero wants to know if it would be all right for him to leave the academy now. Reina says that she does not mind him going away, because she only needed him to help her investigate the dungeon. She also reminds Rakuto that it's virtually impossible for outsiders to enter this city with permission. As a matter of fact, the only reason why Reina was able to accept this request in the first place was because of her having gone to the same academy when she was young. Rakuto does not get why things are so strict over here, but Reina explains that it's because of things like this that the items dropped in the city's dungeons have such a high value. Rakuto can rent a house if he wants to stay, which is a good idea for him. After he is done with Ria, our hero hears some knocking on the door again, so he dresses up the ant girl quickly. Upon opening the door, he sees that it's none other than Alicia, so he asks her what's wrong. That's exactly what the cat girl would like to know, because the situation does look a bit shady to her. There is also a lot of sweaty odor in the air, but our hero tells her not to worry about such things. None of that matters now, because Alicia has come here to give Rakuto his reward. It's a big pouch which includes a bonus for taking care of the Dimension Walker. That's roughly 2 million gils, but Rakuto has no idea what a gil is supposed to be. Alicia explains that the gil is the currency used within the academy, and if we were to compare the earnings, then 1 million gils are enough for an adventurer to live 1 year comfortably. Since he has been given 2 million gils, Rakuto realizes that he has sorted out the next 2 years for himself and his harem girls. Alicia maintains that Dimension Walkers are the most dangerous monsters you can find in any labyrinth, so the reward fits the achievement. Our hero takes the cash and then the girls try to arrange the coins, but they end up causing a mess. Rakudo takes a closer look at the jills and realizes it would be a lot better to just stack the coins up one after the other. Sorting the coins into piles of 10 each is also a good way to get the job done, and Ria completes her task with ease. Rakudo is pleased by what he sees, and he pets the ant girl to show his appreciation. Reina gets jealous and says that she too was able to stack up her piles. Rakudo pets her head as well, and it makes her extremely happy. Our hero confirms that there are indeed 2 million jills here, which may have made things awkward, but it's important to be careful when it comes to money matters. He also has another question to ask Alicia, and it has to do with him renting a house over here. Alicia agrees that he should stay here for a bit longer, and she decides to show our hero a few houses in the area. The cat girl takes Rakudo to a massive place and says that this is the best she can do for him right now. He asks Alicia how much the house would cost, because an impressive place like this would mean a lot of rent. Alicia says that the cost is 100,000 jills a month, but in Rakudo's case, she will give it to him for free. Our hero wants to know why she is doing this, so the cat girl reveals that she has one more request for him. Rakudo listens carefully, but Alicia simply says that she wants him to continue visiting this town even after he is done with his business. At this point, instead of a harem house, our hero is dealing with a harem town. All of this may sound good to Rakudo, but he wants to know how he will be able to enter the town when the school is closed. This is a valid question, so Alicia decides to give Rakudo a special ring. Then, she opens up a portal underneath her with the same ring and offers her hand to our hero. He holds it and they vanish suddenly, leaving Ria alone at the house. Rakudo opens his eyes and is surprised to find himself in another place. Once he steps out, he notices that he has been brought to the land of Kamiso, which is rather surprising. Alicia explains that the teleportation was the effect of the twin rings, which were created by the great Arthur Ferguson, her ancestor. It's possible to teleport between the locations of these rings, which is how the couple were able to come here in the first place. There are some scrolls which are required to activate these transfers, and Alicia hands them over to Rakudo. He asks her if it would be possible to get more of these scrolls, so she explains that she can make more of them if she is given the materials. Rakudo wants to know why Alicia is giving him such valuable items, so she makes a face and asks him a question. Alicia wants to know what Rakudo thinks of Cecilia as a person because she loves her Oni-sama. Our hero says that Cecilia is funny in the head and he feels sorry for her, prompting Alicia to say she appreciates his concern, but wonders if he's being a bit too cruel over here. She adds that Cecilia is not usually the type to take an interest in the affairs of others. As a matter of fact, ever since the cat girl was born, she was raised to be the heiress to the Ferguson household. Cecilia was taught to treat everyone as a pawn, other than Alicia of course. However, since she has met Rakudo, Cecilia seems to have changed as a person. It is because of Rakudo bullying her that she only talks about him day and night. Unfortunately, a lot of this is just ranting about our hero being terrible, so he wonders what all of this has to do with the rings and the scrolls. Alicia states that anger is also a necessary emotion, but Cecilia has been suppressing that emotion for a very long time. After all, she has to keep appearances to prevent any kind of criticism, but this would have eventually gotten the better of her. Our hero gets what Alicia is trying to say, so he pets her head to make her feel better. The cat girl gets very excited and says that she wants Rakudo to do the same thing to her Oni-sama as well. On that note, Alicia goes back to work and our hero goes back to his new home. Ria finally finds her master and hugs him immediately because she had severely missed him in the few minutes he was gone. He consoles her and goes on to say that they have a really nice house now. Ria wants to put that to the test by pouncing on her master and suggesting that they get their freak on again. Rakudo is a bit surprised by this, because he did just do shady things to Ria not too long ago. However, when the elephant is that good, it's hard for kitties to resist. Anyway, the two of them engage in some more unspeakable acts, and once they are done with, Rakudo decides to gather the other girls too. He goes to the girls' dorm and knocks on Mia's door, which makes her very excited. She gleefully opens the door to greet her master, but she does a lot more than just smiling and hugging. Romina is also here, and Mia says that she was visiting her and Ramina to play a game of Dragon. This is a game similar to Old Maid, with the main difference being the card decks using dragons instead of jokers. Clubs and spades are also replaced with magical elements such as fire and water. The girls ask their master if he would also like to play with them, so he takes a look at Ria, who is clearly feeling a bit jealous. Mia simply takes this as a yes, and the girls proceed with the game. Romina decides to become the card dealer, and she comments that adding more players is a great idea because the game is not that great with just 2 people. Romina becomes even more excited and says that there should be some kind of punishment for the person losing the game. However, her intrusive thoughts get the better of her, and she states that the loser will need to remove an article from their attire as punishment. As shady as this may sound, both Mia and Rakudo are fine with it because they already know what their bodies look like. Ria is a bit shy to play the game, but she goes ahead with everyone else. Mia asks Romina if she had drawn the dragons on the cards, and the banter continues as the game progresses. Eventually, it is Romina who loses the first game, so she has to enact the punishment that she advocated for. She does not lose hope though, and asks to play one more game to make up for her loss. Ria supports her enthusiastically, but it is of no use as Romina keeps losing again and again. She tries to get the upper hand over Ria, but even this is of no use as she loses yet again. Rakudo knows what is going on, which is that Ria can see the cards being held by Romina. It might be cheating, but nobody's really saying anything to her, so she continues with it. The ant girl uses telepathy again to win the match, but Romina realizes she is going to lose, so she asks Ria to wait. She goes on to shuffle the cards once again and places them on the bed. For some reason, Ria is not able to read the cards this time, so she takes off her jacket and whispers into Romina's ears that she has won this round. Romina can't believe that she has finally won a game and quickly dresses up after thanking Ria for her kindness. Now, Rakudo asks where Ramina is, so Romina explains that she is out fighting with Natsumi as part of their practice rounds. Our hero heads out with his girls to check on the status of the girls, and he learns that they are using the barrier as well, meaning they can get injured, but nothing will be lethal. Now, we see Ramina and Natsumi taking the fight to each other in a thrilling display of power. Natsumi decides to launch a direct hit on Ramina, but she is able to block the blow with the power of her shielded braces, almost like Wonder Woman. Natsumi is shocked to see this, but she shouldn't be so surprised because Ramina sure has the figure to replace Gal Gadot. Natsumi gets slammed to the ground and Ramina claims her 6th victory in as many fights. Natsumi does not want to quit just yet, so she asks for one more round, but Ramina tells her that she needs to rest. Natsumi maintains that she has to become stronger, but Ramina says that training while she's injured is not going to do her any favors. She wants to know why Natsumi is so eager to get stronger, so she answers that it's because she wants to serve Rakudo better. She says that since her master had saved her life, it is her duty to help him as much as she can. Ramina realizes what she's talking about as she too has fallen in love with our hero for a very silly reason. She states that when she was roaming around with her sister Romina, a shady man had tried to pick them up. They had refused his advances, but he kept persisting, and that was when Rakudo showed up to help them out. It was this very moment that made Ramina fall for Rakudo, and even though Natsumi has heard the story before, she still finds it to be very romantic. The girls both blush and talk like damsels in love, and Remina adds that it does not matter if she is scared or hungry when she is around her master. The mere sight of his black hairstyle is enough to satisfy her. Ria gets sucked into the Rakuto fan club and closes into the girls, but she ends up sneezing right behind Natsumi and Remina. The girls look back and blush when they realize that Rakuto and the other girls are standing right there. They want to know for how long their master has been standing there, and he confesses that he heard everything right from when Remina said she beat Natsumi 6 times. As expected, this makes the girls feel really embarrassed, but our hero does not care about that and takes his harem to check out their new home. Romina wants to know how much the house costs, but Rakuto says it's for free, which shocks her to the core. He explains that Alicia has given it to him for free, and even though this does not make sense to the girls, our hero says that there is a stream also over here, so they can swim in their new home. Natsumi admits that she got a little sweaty from her workout with Romina, and it makes Rakuto's intrusive thoughts active again, but he has to be calm for now. Instead, he feels that a bath would be better, which is actually not going to calm anyone down. Unfortunately, there is no bath inside this house, so he will have to get one made from scratch. This means he will have to go shopping, and his nose starts bleeding because of all the intrusive thoughts coming to his mind right now. The girls wonder why he is making such a serious face while his nose is dripping like that, but he decides to go to the marketplace anyway. Our hero is told that the bath will take some time to complete, so he will need to wait for a bit. Rakuto goes ahead and gets some other items, which includes fish as bath additives. These happen to be air fish which are cultivated on the 13th floor of the labyrinth. Rakuto did not expect to come across such products, and then Yuki shows up all of a sudden. She does not get why our hero is so surprised to hear this, but he is more surprised by her immediate appearance. Yuki apologizes and reveals that a little girl started crying after seeing her not too long ago. It makes her wonder if her appearance is horrifying, but Rakuto tells her that she has a very cute face. That makes Yuki blush with her full face turning red, so our hero asks her what's wrong. She says not to talk to her right now, because her body is heating up after being called cute. She can't control herself as even her heart starts beating rapidly, and then Natsumi says that her master is truly an incredible man. However, Romina adds that getting engaged with shady activities 16 times a week is a bit too ridiculous. Yuki comments that it's more than double the number of days that exist in a week, which means our hero has transcended to God-level status when it comes to unspeakable things. As the girls discuss the prowess of Rakuto's elephant, Ria is only interested in the fishes that are in front of her. Yuki apologizes for reacting so strongly because it's the first time that someone has called her cute, which is actually quite surprising. If that's the case, then it's pretty much inevitable that she is going to join Rakuto's harem. Our hero comes back home to a very passionate Mia who gives him exactly what every man would like to get when he meets his slave girl. However, there are other girls in attendance, and they can't believe what they are seeing in front of them, especially because Mia and Rakuto are not even married. One of these girls happens to be Camille, who has managed to come here with her bodyguard Babe. Rakuto wants to know how these girls managed to enter the city because it's supposed to be extremely tough for normal people. Camille scolds him by saying she is nobility, so it did not take a lot of effort for her to make it here. Plus, her family has donated a lot of money to the Ferguson Academy, so there's no reason for them to refuse her entry. She then tells Rakuto that she is a lot more important than he thinks of her, but he only wants to know why she has come here. Camille tells him that she is not obligated to reveal this to him, but he uses his own telepathy to learn that she came here because she missed him a lot. Camille tries to defend herself by saying she is not that lonely, but it's of no use as the truth is out. She drops to the floor, so our hero goes to check up on her and even refers to Camille by her nickname, which is Yui. He then takes a look at her face and everything seems fine from here. However, now that Camille has come here, what is going to happen in Rakuto's new harem palace?